This is the last report I am going to make in respect to my health. You won't get another report from me. This is the last update when it comes to what police have done with me. I am going to give the most thorough report. These words I will give you today will be repeated from police. These are the animals who did this. This is a police station from where they did this. Entire police station was involved in this. Investigation department more than anybody else. And also a good number of uniformed police officers. I was not on their page. Their page scrolled down to my Facebook page, and I saw some animals involved in MK Ultra that I also identified right now. But these are the people who did this, and the people who did this worked for this individual. This was the individual who is the right hand of Milan Kučan. This is the man. This was the president of the communists in Slovenia during Yugoslavia. This is a pro-Russian, pro-Soviet, pro-Yugoslav individual who picked himself for a liberation of the Slovenia regular UDBA people who presented themselves to the public as his opposition. Well, we're talking about Janša here. We're talking about this individual who never even served any military service. We're talking about Lojze Peterle, never served any military service, and few other really interesting cookies that did all they possibly could to assist this pro-Yugoslav movement here in Slovenia, pro-Greater Serbian Chetnik State movement here in Slovenia. And it really doesn't matter, even if that wouldn't be the case. The people who assisted me in this extermination procedure, my allies, made bloody sure so that my blog would not be on the internet. They did this through United States of America. In fact, the man who took entirely upon himself takedown of my blog, 15,000 pages of Außer Times. He destroyed 15,000 pages, is none other than King Charles, who negotiated. Actually, he gave a good news to the Slovenian police in 2014 that 2014 that he will negotiate with me the outcome of the case. This was a Prince Charles. Now he is a king. This is a king now. By the way, what you see here was involved in MK Ultra. This is what he brought me, hijacked me to the Britain for. Exactly the stuff that you see here was rehearsed during MK Ultra. And you can see the old man has a wonderful time. So what I'm going to be doing, it's good. I didn't even pay attention to this. See, I did the bookmark here, but I didn't comment. This is extremely sick stuff, because it relates to the stuff I will be talking to you today about, and that is actually a horror. This is a final payment for the last 54 years is what I'll be talking about. I will be talking to you about my health, what this man did. Next to the blog he have taken down, we are talking about the Außer Times blog, this one here, which had 110,000 views already per month. Was taken down on March the 4th, something like this. They have taken one down, made sure that the numbers would change into these numbers. I don't really know which numbers are more atrocious, what is more atrocious issue here, but so this is very important for me to discuss this thing. It's very important for me to discuss. So Prince Charles back then stated, yes, I will negotiate with you. I will negotiate with you. And he explained to me already in 2013 that he will negotiate with me, but under his terms. And then he came to terms in 2016. We were right here at this location here. It's called Grabenski Potok. Together with Robert Golopa, with the police, and what appeared also was Charles. Right here, we were right here. I did escape them to, might have been 2017, to Belarus, 2017. And you can't see anything inside here, right? But you can walk through here also. You can walk, you can make it through. He entrusted me. He told me that it will be done in 2 parts. Pete Hegseth was the one who had his eye on my blog the most from American side. He became literally in charge together with J.D. Vance for my blog. Kash Patel, J.D. Vance. In the United States of America, presidents don't get elected. They get selected. And it's not about the presidents only. It's also about those who would form the future cabinet of the future presidents. It's not a democracy, to put it plain and simple. So, he explained to me that, talking about now what you refer to as a King Charles, your king, your great British king, your British Lucifer, this man right here, it's kind of a perfect, actually, I am glad I came here and I can give a comment on this stuff. He told me that's what I'm gonna get. That's the only thing I'm gonna get. I got way more than that. This is why this video, I got way more than that. I got way more than that. This is why I'm gonna take time today and I'm gonna create my final report based on the stuff that went on during MK Ultra. Extremely difficult to explain because of the lies, violence they did on me, unprecedented violence, lies. It's the hardest part to get to the truth that was before my eyes all along. So much twisted into lies and attacks of this police. They never stopped attacking. They continue to attack. On every opportunity they had, they continue to attack. It never stopped. Mother assaults on a daily basis. Inside, home, or at the father. When you come in touch with her, the only thing you get is assaults. Either it's here or the father. In both places, they continue to assault. Nothing is changing. I am surprised that I get such a great feedback from Americans, from the Europeans, from all these democratic United Nations and International Criminal Court, ICC, United Nations, where I sent complaints. I am surprised at this overwhelming response from the U.S. Justice Department of State, FBI, the so-called Civil Rights Division. I'm shocked with the courtesy, with American justice courtesy, with the Supreme Justices. I'm surprised. They do offer, folks, they offer completely free hosting of videos, of blogs. Do you know why they offer one? So they can delete one. Because they keep control over absolutely everything. Entire extermination procedure. I'll continue to do my stuff. I did the good stuff. I explained exactly what took place. I went as far as I possibly could. This is 15,000 pages. Literally related also to 9/11, to much worse than Epstein issues, exposed U.S. government, democracy, how it operates throughout the Western world, how it all started, how it went. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. This is the democracy. This is the Western world. This is a NATO. This is European Union. This is Ursula von der Leyen. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about Barack Obama. It's about Kamala Harris. It's about Joe Biden. It's about those who claim are anti-tyrants, but were in the game to do everything they possibly could to assist their royal masters from Britain. Their royal masters from Britain, from Norway, from Belgium, Netherlands, and so on. It's not about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a consequence of human hatred, preference for hatred, preference for protests, for all sorts of issues that are lies, that are all based on lies, with which you Americans believe are going to cloud extermination procedure which you exercised against me over the course of 54 years. That's what America is. That's the definition of America. I had to give you this platform at the beginning because what I'm about to tell you next is probably about my death. I will give you, it's not about this thing here only. It's not about deleting me 15,000 pages, a blog that have 100,000 and 110,000 views. That's not what this is about, the numbers growing. That's not what this is about. This is not what this is about. All time, 266 views is what I get. That's exactly what Prince Charles, now King Charles, said he's going to negotiate. He said, I am going to negotiate in a private. I'm going to negotiate in a private. Yeah? He said, I'm going to negotiate in private. Yeah, I want you to see this thing. It's a funny thing. Isn't MK Ultra fantastic that you can do like this to the people? And somewhere on the other side of the world, the person whom you have destroyed life, burned his life, cancerized him, he go out there to the public and he start telling people that you have a cancer, that you suffer from all kinds of cancers, and it's fucking dying, and etc. etc. Isn't that fucking wonderful? And you go like this and you're fucking laughing to the person like this. You destroy 54 years. You like that? Well, this is the Western democracy. This is the world we subsist in. This was my life, and it started when I was few months of age. This. Today, what I will say to you is a really simple, a following. One of the biggest problems that I had, but with God's will, thanks to God, that I carried on next to the cancer that I have in the neck, the cancerized lymph node in the neck, is the cancer that I have in the right side of the testicle. This is the right side of the testicle cancer that Josip Broz Tito started to enforce, equally as the right side of the lymph node, cancerous lymph node in my neck area. I will professionally refer to this lymph node. Yeah, it's called a palatine tonsil. This is called palatine tonsil. So we have a palatine tonsil. I'm going to open one more like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not even dare, because they threw me into psychiatric hospital in 2012 and in 2015. And in between, it wasn't only psychiatric hospitalizations. It was stalking with the sirens, attacking, assaults, threats, based on, those are not really side effects. Psychiatric drugs are designed to shorten your life. Basically, they got a gig, they got a power. Animals here from the village, animals from police station, animals who are involved in this, they felt empowered, man, because now they threw me even on psychiatric medications. Now they grabbed God by the balls. This was 2012. This here connected basically, and it's correct because this would be the right side, also with the right side of the testicle. These are the consequences of Josip Broz Tito, Milan Kučan, Borut Pahor, Tanja Fajon, Gregor Golobic, who started to enforce this type of cancerization. Back then in Yugoslavia, these were physicians. It was physicians and it was also schoolmates that they were instructed to kick in the balls. But this was not because of the kicking in the balls. This was because of the same thing I demonstrated you about this thing here. This was created through injections, and this was created through using even pliers. They were using literally pliers to squeeze the lymph nodes in a chest area. The lymph nodes in a chest area. Gregor Golobic, police officers from Novo Mesto police station, people whom they hired from the Ragovska that came here like animals inside of our house, in this new house here, they were even using pliers to squeeze lymph nodes. So this is about physical, repeated, deliberately inflicted injuries. And one of the injuries I never mentioned, I was extremely uncomfortable to mention, was also this one here. This is the right side of the testicle that they inflicted and they continue to maintain. Now, Robert Golob during MK Ultra was I repeatedly heard one, he ordered police to create injuries on the testicle. Because these injuries, they would start to, this lymph node injuries, believe it or not, they started to heal itself. They started to heal itself. They started to heal itself. And they healed. But they continue to inflict the injuries. And sometimes in year 2000 and 2011, I believe it was. In 2011 it was. You read this, what I wrote down, right? Testicle cups, right? This is what was presented to me beginning the 2011. This is when police started to claim, and this is right after they caused severe injuries, again in a testicle. And then they pretended like they don't know nothing. So talking about Igor Juršić, Andrej Štefanić, so I'm talking about the same animals from Novo Mesto police station. Then what they do is they pretend like they're out there, Zajcek, all these investigators, like they're here with a good hope, like they're here to help, you know, saying to me, you know, you have a problem on your right testicle is not doing too good. Your right testicle is not doing too good. And I don't know what the fuck they're saying. Why the fuck would my right testicle not be doing good? I mean, why the hell would that be, these things? I noticed it since I was child. I remember Josip Broz Tito, who demanded injuries to be inflicted on my testicle. Josip Broz Tito, this is also the stuff that went on during MK Ultra, yes. Josip Broz Tito claimed my mother and my father that I am not their son. Josip Broz Tito claimed my mother and my father that they exchanged me, that I am not their son, that he traveled I don't know where one time, and he didn't only tell them this, he also told me these things. He told me that they exchanged me in the Germany or someplace, that they exchanged me. Those are the words of Josip Broz Tito to me, that he traveled abroad and they exchanged me. Mother not, but father was so paranoid, so insane, that he claimed in my entire life that I'm not his son, till I started to claim that he is not my father, sometimes in 2000 and I don't know what it was, 2012 or something like that. And guess what happened? They came here from Slovenian genetic research during MK Ultra, and they did research on me. They researched whether I am his son or I'm not his son. And this lady, whoever that was, who did the research based on genetics, based on DNA, found that he is my father, in fact. But what is interesting is she threatened me. She said, if you will not be nice with me, whoever that lady was, she had a black hair, glasses I think that she had, I might actually say to him that you're not his son and you will not be entitled to house, to the property. We had this kind of stuff going on also, and throughout the lifetime and during MK Ultra, and finally me getting disgusted with the whole thing, and that kind of stuff we have also going on. So Josip Broz Tito gave order when I was just maybe, I don't know, maybe I was 4 years old. Josip Broz Tito, 4 or 5 years old, Josip Broz Tito paid tremendous attention to involvement of penis, of testicles. He paid tremendous attention to that. And whether I was age 4 or 5, Josip Broz Tito gave order to mutilate. He was making a fun as he was watching. Serbs were obsessed with the size of the testicles, of how you are developing testicles, how you are sexually developing. This was a big thing during MK Ultra, and they were comparing to different boys and so on. And he was extremely disappointed with me that my balls just they would not develop in exactly the same way, as fast and as big as from other children. The next thing that followed was a mutilation at the request of Josip Broz Tito. And then we have Mr. Milan Kučan and his happy company with the Serbs, that they would do whatever they would do with me. Now, what is interesting is that my intestines would continue to recuperate itself. So the injury I am talking about is the injury that would appear simply every here and then. But the order to my teacher, from my teachers in a kindergarten, already in a kindergarten and in the school and during MK Ultra, was to have children kick in the balls. This was the thing. To kick in the balls, just kick in the balls. This was a big deal. Kick in the balls. I never was kicked in the balls by any girl in my lifetime. Actually, girls Girls liked me. I was not the one, but they did to other guys. But it's weird that they didn't, because it was so many times, so many instructions to kick in the balls, and the girls really, because the boys were really bad, discussed a lot about kicking the balls, and I never was kicked in the balls. But what's this stuff never stopped. The same thing like they did here with this lymph node here is exactly the same thing, and not with that one only, but also here. They did exactly the same thing with they squeezed my lymph nodes here. They squeezed my lymph nodes here. They did here, this arm. They did here. They did balls. Why were they doing this stuff? Well, I am going to repeat to you the words of the police officers. Before I go to the words of the police officers, this man here whom I have demonstrated, this is why I'm angry. That's why I'm extremely angry. They were demonstrating me, this here is what they demonstrated me beginning 2011, that I should buy myself a protection for the balls like this, where you can put like a cup that you can protect your balls, and that I should this was the instructions from Novo Mesto police investigators. So, but I did not explain to you everything. Yeah, this was in 2011. It was critical, and it was critical right after my testicles again recuperated. And my testicles again recuperated because I spent time abroad in other countries. I don't know if this is just for masturbation or whatever. Testicle cups, right? You say testicle cups. So the way this works under MKH, you have a police officer that was explaining me, and he was laughing to me in my face. Like a cups, just like a cups, except it's not cups. And he goes and he starts to go in a deep personally to demonstrate protection. It's a protection. Something like this here. This is what they also discussed. But we're talking about just round, like something that I demonstrated you, that you can place where you have balls, and it will protect your testicle covers. Okay, testicle covers being left behind and on the shelves. I don't know what the hell. Something that you can use, that you can protect yourself from what they were explaining to me. Your balls are hanging down. And so it was extremely bizarre moments. This shit, yeah, 2011 is just about correct. 2010, 2011. This kind of stuff. I found myself hiking with these animals from Novo Mesto police station, and right here at the end of the village, actually, where you go already past this Giro, I go. They talk to me that I have to make these things for myself, my own, because the balls are hanging, right, and they're heavy, and this is what agitates them. This is just not true. If that would be the case, it would be both balls. One is completely normal. The left one, the communist one, is completely normal. Just like the left one, this communist here is completely normal, and the right one, the right one, this one, the right one is cancerous. And so they told me you have to do that because it put the weight balls put down, no good for you, cancer. Really? During MK Ultra, I am walking at the end of this village. There's another village, Zhigovoselo, and at the end of it, I go and I take time to go piss. And as I reach out here for, you know, to pull my Johnny out, I don't know how to penis out, I couldn't do it. For the love of God, I couldn't do it. Fuck, I look. And I said, what the fuck? What is this shit? And I realized that it was some shit they wrapped my balls into. They wrap it into something so that it would support my balls. It was not bad. I remember that stuff was not bad because I remember this. Interesting, no? Isn't that interesting? Maybe police wants to explain why do I remember that stuff was not bad. I remember it was not bad because it was no pain. Meaning that during MK Ultra I suffered enormous pain. Why was it that I suffered enormous pain only during MK Ultra? If I wouldn't suffer this during MK Ultra, I would go to the physician, I would go to the doctor. It's the same thing as the sound. Zzz, this blood pressure sound, basically. The same thing. The same shit. The same thing with the sleep. The 4-hour sleep or no sleep at all, this is what went on during MK Ultra. So, what's going on with this shit? If I had injuries, as you claim, why is it that during MK Ultra my balls were just hurting from the pain like they do now, but not in real life? What is it that it was so different that it made them hurt? And why is it that Robert Golob issued direct orders to hurt my balls repeatedly to police officers in front of me? Why is it that he issued the orders to the police? Extremely disappointed. Sometimes in 2008, 2009, 2010, he said it was sometimes they didn't play with it and testing again regrew itself, normalized itself, cured itself. And when Robert Golob found that, he was just completely out. He was right here. Vaja, I don't know how you say that. Lobby, it's not really lobby. He became extremely concerned. Years, sometimes 2009. And balls. Milan Kutran also was present. And balls. And balls. You got to recuperate it. You got to recuperate it. It recuperated to you, huh? You got to recuperate it to you, huh? Guys, make sure about that stuff, the balls. It recuperated. I heard him talk about this stuff several times on occasion during the course of the days that went past. So clearly, easily to point out, I was rated as no good as a child because I didn't eat meat. Yeah, the fish, they claimed that the fish was no meat. So the white chicken meat, that's not meat. They claim that's not enough. You have to eat nasty meat with veins inside and stuff like this, disgusting stuff. They demanded for me to and they also tortured me with that stuff. That's another video we're gonna reserve. That's a completely different video. I already video recorded. I have to put on the internet. So why were they doing these things? Why were they doing these things? They were doing these things based on detectives, based on investigators from Novomesto police station who guaranteed me that little by little, sometimes already in 2000, they guaranteed me the goal is to create a cancerous points. And the goal is to connect these cancerous points through one another. And the easiest way to connect the cancerous points through one another is to create locations, lymph nodes, damage them, create cancer, and then let the cancer flow through the lymphic system, and then it creates into the cancer. This is the art of your King Charles, your Prince Charles, your charming Charlie, Prince William, Prince Henry. This is their gift, basically. This is a complimentary to me. This is Prince Andrew. This is your British royal, your Dutch royals, your Belgian royals, your Norwegian, your Swedish royals. This was a complimentary gift of your German royals who are also involved in this. This is a gift to me, basically. This is what the gift from my allies to me. This is a final payment. The last words dedicated to this. It's too many, and what I will do is I'm going to carry some notebook with me. I'm going to start writing down this shit I should. To me, were this thing here. This is what and it's very good that I did not make any kind of videos about this stuff earlier. Yeah. The last kindest words of Božičnik, Zajšek, and these are the people who these are not the people who enforce this stuff. These are the people that were used to toxify these things. Yeah, they were also used to enforce. Without the criminals like this, things would not be possible. Thesis was that what you see here eventually, this is a testicle, eventually will travel through the lymphic system into a prostate, bladder, that kind of stuff. This is what Zajšek, Božičnik, detectives, the so-called investigators from the Novo Mesto police station, they celebrated. In 2018, 2019, 2020, they were laughing in my face. They were bringing me from Poland, and what they were doing is they were inflicting more harm. Now, at the same time, what they claimed to me was that what is going to screw me up, and this is what investigator from Novo Mesto police station who met me at the police station in 2022, when I rushed for assistance in respect to my father's medical files, because I wanted to get my father back home. The animal who met me at the Novo Mesto police station keeps saying to me that what will screw me up is basically my jerking off. Yeah, so now you don't have the woman, you don't have nothing, you cannot go to physician, you're not allowed to go to physician through the psychiatric certificate of the lunacy. Yes, you go to the police station to file the complaint, and what they do is they say that you suffer telepathy, that you told them that you have a telepathy, and what they do is they transport you to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. That's exactly what Štefanić, Juršić, I should say Miran Sudin from Ministry of Interior did on November in 2024. No? But this is nothing to worry about because the blog is gone. The blog is gone. The blog is gone. That's what your King Charles now stated me. This is how I negotiate. I will negotiate with you. But he said your blog will be gone. And there will be another blog that will come up. And maybe even that blog will be gone. He said, we will see. It will depend on how much it will be gone. So I guess that he is not too much disappointed with the number of 266 of all time. Now that's about maybe 1 month now. So 266 views for your King Charles. It appears it works. It's okay. He's satisfied with it. He's fine with it. He does not have the problems with this number. He's okay, and he's now willing to negotiate. He's willing to negotiate through the local police station together with a psychiatrist, yeah? So now he created his territory through J.D. Vance, through the pig Hexet, through Donald Trump, to what you Americans, hypocrites, claim. It's a Donald Trump that does it, right? I heard you had some very productive protests, right? And so now when you have the protests, now everything must be, the democracy still must be functional, right? So that's basically how he will negotiate. So I guess it's going to be either you take it or you are killed. And the answer already is ahead. I will never take anything like this or negotiate anything like this under any kind of circumstances. This is just never going to happen. That's an illusion. From 110,000 in month to 266. Not bad. Not bad. That's a blog that had, I think, about almost 3 million views. But before he had 3 million views, exactly as Sergei Mikhailovich, a Russian Jew, Sergei Mikhailovich Brin, told me with the Larry page. I don't know if it was for the number 3 million, but this is not 3 million. That blog was tremendously censored, hidden from the public, and there was way more people than what they reported. He stated it will be taken down at a certain number, and I don't know if whether it was 3 million or whatever it was, but he gave me the promise that it's going to be a certain number, and then the blog is going to disappear. A premonition for this takedown of the blog was Pig Hexet, who claimed, well, you know, we will probably have to do something about your blog. And it was Sergei Mikhailovich Brin who insisted. He said, yeah, well, I will be if they will be so good, that they will assist with us in Gaza, basically with extermination of the Palestinian people. So these are basically owners of the Google, of the Juggle. This is your Google, this is your Blogger, this is your YouTube. This is your owners of the artificial intelligence in America. I mean, this is what America is, right? And we don't have any platforms anywhere else in the world because Germans, British, Swedish, on whose behalf I was murdered, they don't want to have their platforms. They don't want somebody to say, hey, they don't do this, they do this, and so on and so forth. They don't do it. I'm a man without a homeland. I'm a man without land. I don't have any homeland. They destroyed me. They destroyed me Slovenian citizenship and destroyed me American citizenship. I don't have any kind of homeland. I have no homeland. I don't have any kind of country. And United Nations is the biggest Lucifer Satan of them all. That is the Satan that is hired by all these governments to do the filthy job for them, known as see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing, basically. Lie a lot, cash a lot, money a lot, good a lot, everything a lot, cry a lot, and do fucking nothing. The same shit like Americans that you see them now, they're gonna protest. It's a protest against the no kings, and I don't know what kind of... But one thing they don't want the truth. The truth, you don't have to protest, you don't have to scream, you don't have to anything. All you have to do is, you scum, is basically confess yourself. You don't have to talk about it, Americans. It was millions of you involved in this. All you have to do is basically confess yourself. Every American city throughout the United States of America, up to 20,000 people, the least, was involved in this case. How come that you don't know nothing? How come that you don't see nothing and you protest against kings? For 54 years through this case, every fucking one of you was a king. There was no racism. If they did this to the black person, it would be a racism, or as a Hispanic or Latino or whatever it would be. But in this case, there was no racism. Even if the blacks, even the Asians, Latinos were doing to me this is not racism. This case just does not exist. That's all there is. Problem solved. Why? Because they did it on behalf of the so-called white people, and I am from the so-called white people, right? So this is how they organize themselves. So now you go and you protest, and you don't want to have kings, and you don't want to have, I don't know what the fuck you don't want to have, right? You see all kinds of dragons. You see Epstein's flying. Yeah. You don't like to talk about, it is true, you don't like to talk about this thing here. It really is not about me only. Really, it's not about me only. This is not about me. This is an American thing. This whole thing is American thing. Kamala Harris is a Jew. Kamala Harris is a Jew. In case you didn't know, she's married to the Emhoff. That's a Jew. I don't understand what Hillary Clinton, who pledged extermination of the Gazan people, these people would do any different, or basically Obama, who bombed the fuck out of Syria. I don't understand what you people would believe you're going to convince the world they would do any different, and that you are under attack and so on. You're not under attack. You don't want to know about the truth. The truth is that you don't want to know about the truth. The truth is that you cannot handle the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. And from day to day, you are getting yourself more and more and more into an open authoritarian system. Fascism. For me, however, it makes no difference. It makes no difference because of these issues here. This is what you American people continue to enforce. This is your product. This is your work. This is your product. This is your work. This is what you hoped for. This is what you worked for. You just don't want to be seen as such. You want to be seen even as a victim. It's a Donald Trump. Oh my God, it's a Donald Trump. Everything is like this and so on. No, it's not Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Donald Trump, you scum. It's you. You're the one who is enforcing this. You're the one who enforced this because you wanted it this way. Many of you scumbags who participate in these things. And I watch you on the internet all over. Many of you so you could have something to talk about. Many of you so you could cash. Many of you because you are an option from the government. And you are just simply waiting to replace, to go on and blah, 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 blah. That's what you are doing. Many of you, if not most of you, if not every fucking one of you. How bad is this stuff? This stuff can be pretty bad, I imagine. Your King Charles claimed in beginning the 2013, your King Charles started to claim that it's just a cancer on the intestines and it's not a big deal. They did not investigate this stuff. What they did was they took time to brainwash, reduce, basically, make these things rather funny, ridiculous, and actually make me feel that if I would come up with such a claim, that I would be really listed as a paranoid schizophrenic. In addition to already, as I was given a certificate of being a paranoid schizophrenic in 2012 by these animals. I was afraid. Yes, the fear actually exists. The fear actually exists. And this animal here, this bastard that you see here, your king, your British, he does not recognize any of these things here. He does not recognize any of this stuff here. I wasn't going to talk to you about this stuff here, but I am going to talk to you about these things.
Almost everything we think we know about addiction is wrong.
This is not Einstein here. Basically, they put the rats into a box. In that box, that was a way for rats to drink from a reservoir loaded with a cocaine and a reservoir loaded with a regular water. This is the issue which psychiatrist Peter Kapsch and another Mesto police officer who were also extremely YouTuber oriented, because it was all kinds of, there was million YouTubers that were coming in this house. And every one of them, they were interested in those issues, in prospects of how to increase problem, trauma, stress, destroy me basically. Expressed a tremendous interest on how they could cash and so on, and they discussed exactly this issue. This was the issue of which psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, this is this animal right here, I will continue to give you a free commercial. That's basically till day I'm gonna come to pick you up. I'm not going to have a police badge, but I will have a special authorization to come to pick you up. If it's not going to be at your office or at your home, it will be inside of the jail. But you will see me, pal. This animal here, the way he talked to me together with Robert Golop about these things, I think it's important for me to stress. It's a bit difficult video and a difficult hour, but tomorrow is Sunday. The way he stressed these issues to me was, they don't tell you sensitive for you issues. I didn't explain anything about this, but they don't only tell you certain things, not that you're supposed to know, because you'd be better off that these people would not talk to you about. You would be 1,000 times better off. Because you would go to the internet and you would investigate yourself. Like I said earlier, the hardest thing about this crime, the hardest thing of them all, of all these crimes, were lies. They loaded with 1 million of lies. The same thing like King Charles, who claimed this shit should have been, when it comes to artificial intelligence, should be released already 20 years ago. This is also how they talk. We should have already released this, we should have already released this. King Charles repeated himself inside of this house, but we will not release yet because of you. And it will be because of me, because of you, because your case did not come out yet as MK Ultra case. Is that when it's going to be released about you, that's when we're going to make explosion of artificial intelligence videos. I had Prince William, who became obsessed with artificial intelligence video portraying royal family, negotiated with the people who do artificial intelligence animations and stuff inside of this house, and produced consequently I don't know how many videos. Now what's interesting is, one of the Facebook accounts, he said, you're going to see one of the Facebook accounts you're going to have, and it's not going to be your official account. Whenever you're going to go to that Facebook account, which is just the account I use to see the people, if I'm blocked or whatever, it will be, you will see me, the artificial videos, and he already demonstrated certain videos and talked to me about these things. This is royals. Royals, don't talk to me about thieves, about the thugs, about criminals, about, if you have a royals in your country as a heads of the state, don't talk to me about that stuff. Don't talk to me about the criminals and gangsters and etc., etc. If you have a royals in your country, do not talk to me about, because it stinks straight from the top down and it's rotten completely. And so he said, this was his filthy plan of the Charles already 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago. They planned on artificial intelligence, talking about the videos and stuff. Russians saw enormous potential. They were thinking about that I could be hijacked, they could make me disappear, They could imitate me as I talk on the videos, and it would be actually artificial intelligence. And the guy he was nowhere. This happens especially to the people that don't go out and meet people and stuff like that. They're not social and stuff like that. It's so much easier, but can actually happen to anybody. This was Putin also, who was obsessed with these things. But this was really American, British thing. Russians did not even know about artificial intelligence shit. It was for Russians and Americans, I should say Russians and even Chinese. We would be waiting another 200 years to get there. So they were all obsessed with this police, local police. And nobody was more obsessed with than Charles, because he figured out in the last moments, he said, together with William, your videos, if they would ever be released, your videos, people would not have a capacity to discern between the real videos and the fake artificial intelligence videos. He said, in fact, we'll release even few fake videos to pursue the people to no longer watch your videos. So this is basically, they figure out the way to take the blog down, to destroy public image pertaining to the torture, to the real torture and audio, to the real videos and to the audio videos. I will never forget Prince Harry and Prince William in 2010. They were completely taken over with knowing. So that means that British oils already prepared themselves for that. That for the torture audio that people produce, the torture audio, that it will be, they already produced audios that were completely equal to those that they did the torture on me. This was Prince William and Prince Harry. 2008 was the year when they claimed, 2006 and then 2008 and then 2010, that I don't have nothing to look forward to when it comes to the audio, to the torture audio. So this was basically a race with the time for the people who had those audios and videos. They would not even have a capacity to prove that it was real or it was fake, etc. How bad is this? This is greater than Great Britain. This is a rule Britannia. This is a CIA. This is a Central Intelligence Agency. This is a Federal Bureau investigation. How bad is this? This is a Scotland Yard that does these things. This is a MI5. This is a British MI5. This is a British police that does these things. How bad is this? How is it to live in a country like this? How is it to live in a country filthy like this? Who wants to live in a country filthy like this? So, in 2013, Charles started to claim that it's just a cancer on the testicles, and started to laugh in my face. It's just a cancer in the testicle. In 2012, I was thrown in a psychiatric hospital. Now I'm getting a better treatment. Now I'm getting the psychiatric medications that literally you can feel them in your spine. I will say to you that if your spine is damaged, especially like it was mine, it will hurt when you get the psychiatric medications. It will destroy you, entire system. You won't be able to even move jaws with the saliva running out of your mouth due to pain, oil dripping from your forehead, from your head down. Just insane stuff. You barely walk because of the pain, excruciating pain. So he said, it's only, but that's only on testicle. It's only on testicles. It's only on a testicle. Yes, it's highly curable. In 2014, and they started, this became a new sport in 2014. I found it on a Facebook, started to suggest me that blacks have a better dicks than whites. This became a sport, and I don't even know what the fuck it is, but I know the subject, the police subject during MK Ultra. I remember with Americans when they came here, and they started to claim that the whites have, like, do you see on the right side, and I don't even know what this is. They told me that this is not even the real thing during MK Ultra. They told me that this is just completely fake, that this is just a fantasy picture. Nevertheless, if an individual has a cancer and you come to him as a black person and start to laugh in his face, basically, that this, when compared to this kind of stuff that we have going on inside of this home, this is pretty fucking sick. It's pretty fucking disgusting. This is the stuff that this individual had the private zoo inside of this house barricaded. A man who delivered me to United States of America, greater than Great Britain, throughout the Germany, throughout the Japan, throughout the Thailand, everywhere, absolutely throughout the entire world. Russia, China, absolutely everywhere. The Milan Kuchran is a private deputy next to Robert Golot. I mean, this guy was having incredible time of his life together with the police officers and also with animals that were involved in the MK Ultra case, for which I told you that they were up to no good. There was a lot of people that were involved in this. There's a lot of these people that they were just, most of you were just no fucking good. You might want to say whatever the fuck you want to say, but the only thing I am going to say to you is you didn't have the right to put me through this after 2020, not even after 2018, not even after 2010 when I started to talk about MK Ultra. None of you had the right to do this, and even less under the circumstances which you have created. And I am not done with the report yet. The last thing that I felt problematic here in this case of mine was a pain here. This is another lymph node here, and it was also based on MK Ultra, for which mother figured out that they were using, it's called chemash. And this is all Slovenian words that are interpreted during MK Ultra as funny, just like a cups. Chamash is like, Ramzans is the name. It's a wild garlic known. But if you translate this from Slovenian language, it's like, do you have it? Yeah, do you have it? That would be in the Slovenian language, the meaning of it. And what they would do is they would use during MK Ultra the same thing like the mother prepared, who claimed, by the way, that we never were collecting the chamash in our lifetime, even that I was collecting chamash from that location right there when I was in the 4th grade of the grammar school, and this is not close to the city where we used to be, not even close here. This is close to Otočec over there. (1982). Mother didn't want to know anything about this. She claimed, no, we never did. We never eat this. We never did. We don't know nothing about these things. We never did. Together with the mom, I was picking up these things before I left to America in 2000. And actually, I drove her to pick up also this chemash, this plant. mixed with oil. I don't know how, but it creates effect in my lymphic nodes that make this thing here swollen. This is this kind of a lymph node here. Let's go back to this thing here. It's called cervical lymph nodes. Yeah, so we have now discussed. We have now discussed partially this issue. We have partially discussed this issue, and we have also partially discussed this issue here. This is what we discussed. For the palatine tonsil, for this thing here, I already explained to you that Barack Obama personally was involved in this stuff. I told you that I used to be in Chicago. I told you about Barack Obama's presidency when I was in the United States of America in Chicago, how the Slovenian police traveled over there and got an excuse from Barack Obama personally to go and to cancerize even further. For I was not surprised to have felt this metastasis. It's called metastasis. It's a really funny feeling that you get, but you get more of this. You get all of a sudden you get more of these balls that you can feel, and even on the other side. But this was the same thing as what I felt during MK Ultra. So this thing was nothing new. So this metastasis that happened now in 2025 and in 2026 is already the stuff that I witnessed to during MK Ultra, you know. So given that I gave you the information and that Americans witnessed personally to all this, we're talking about the physicians, doctors here. Now, the King Charles delivered his own animals from Britain who did the job for him. Oh yes, I already described that animal on the blog, and for this here, I was told that this is the most dangerous, this thing here. This is the most dangerous one. Yes, of course it is, because it's a part of the lymphic system, and this is the next step. It goes straight into the brain, right? So they did discuss about that kind of issue, and Prince Charles was also laughing about that issue. He said that he understands that they also found something like that, that they also was something like that. So this thing here, this cervical thing, was extremely painful for about 2 weeks. It was not infection, it was the plant that I told you mixed with maybe it's just the oil that did this, I don't know. Or maybe I have an allergy to that type of plant. I have no fucking idea. But when they tell you, and what I do in this video is I repeat the words of the police officers, your king and your psychiatrists and physicians from, I did not even mention, from General Hospital Novo Mesto, you must admit if you would be in this kind of circumstances, it would be extremely unpleasant for you, especially if you would get about 4 hours of sleep per day. 4 or 5 hours of sleep per day. And you would listen yourself how your voice changes, and you know, stuff that they talk about, it's cancer. It wouldn't be cool. You go and you drink a coffee, or you take walnut, or you take a chips or something like that, and you can immediately feel pain throughout your lymphic system. It would not make you comfortable, boy, to sleep on the floor and go like this with a sound in your head. We didn't get to the sound in my head. We didn't get to that issue yet. I don't know which one is more insane. Sound in my head? Sound in my head is like this, that they always talk to me. They talk to me since before I came to the United States of America, since the Parkinson came out, that I know of, like in 19 85, the neighbor here, the Igor Kotar, was laughing about it, claimed that I will have a Parkinson's disease, with his wife, Sonia Kotar, with physicians, with these people that were coming here, and they all talk about Parkinson. He's going to have a Parkinson. It's going to be Parkinson. It's going to be a Parkinson. Sclerosa, Parkinson it's going to be. I could never, for the love of God, understand what the fuck you're talking about. Well, the sound that I hear all the time, that is a blood pressure sound. The last one who this sound that I spoke to you about, this stuff about this sound. Let's not forget, this was the second tooth they destroyed me. Yes, because the tooth is a mega booster for this type of stuff. It amplifies the problems throughout the body. Teeth are connected to other parts of the body that it's all adding together. These are the words of Robert Golub. They were honest about their intentions. These were their intentions. Boy, I got lost right now. Too many issues. The last one who spoke to me about these things, I spoke to you about that always during MK Ultra it was shh. This noise, this shit was present. The cancer itself with me during MK Ultra, like horse talking and changing the voice. This shit was present when I was in a grammar school, in my 6th grade of the grammar school in 1984. In 1984, I could hear myself during MK Ultra because it was also specific instructions from the neighbor here, Igor Kotar, who witnessed this stuff, to pay attention to the voice, to how I hear myself. It was a hoarse voice, cancer, pure cancer. We had me walk with him along the river. I told you on the videos, old videos, about how they claim me that they are going to radiate me even from the space. They talk about the directed energy weapons. The doctor of Donald Trump, that was an animal. That one wanted me to create detector for the atoms, for the nuclear radiation, and that I should create one by myself and all kinds of shit. That they're gonna be from other houses shooting me with the directed energy, all kinds of stuff, weapons and so on, microwaves. This is a whole fucking paranoia with people that will participate in MK Ultra, and sick as I was, that I couldn't get sleep, knowing, because they poisoned. They would say, we're going to come on a visit and you're not going to be able to sleep. Sure, you're not going to be able to sleep. If I get you under MK Ultra, I fucking poison you. And I give you instructions that, as a social worker, that I'm going to come to visit you the next day at 12 o'clock, and you're going to come out of your room all fucked up, because you won't be able to sleep based on the damage that I created to your liver, to your kidney. And when I appear, and you over there in the room, you cannot sleep, and you hear that somebody's doing something, so that you're going to come out of the room, and you come out of the room and you see the motherfucker. You become a fucking paranoid. They were using poisoning, literally, to convince into paranoia, into brain-implanted electrodes, chips and shit. Shit that goes on 24/7 on a Facebook. They not worry about that kind of fake news. They not worry about any fucking fake news. They worry about the truth. The truth is they worry about it. They create the fake news so they can take the real news down. This was real. The stuff that I spoke to you about was real. It was animal from Bela Krajina, some social workers that came here on a visit. Just after they released me from MK Ultra directly into the bed. And yes, of course I couldn't fucking sleep, poisoned, fucked up. I couldn't sleep, for the love of God, I couldn't. This is how they were doing this. This is how they were convincing these things. You cannot, through the total lack of sleep, is a madness. Avoid the lies they brain massage you with, they brainwash you with, make you not fucking sleep for years. Sleep deprive you, starve you. It's all kinds of shit that you are brainwashed during MK Ultra is going to come in your head. You cannot resist because it's a pain. You scream for help, basically, by giving people the fucking theories because they don't consider you if you go to the police station, if you go to the physician or whatever. To give the symptoms, they say, oh, you don't have nothing. You're normal. Everything is normal. Take a little bit more magnesium. That's all there is. They were given the instructions during MK Ultra about the salads, about to eat the salads, and about, I don't know what the fuck to eat. But they were not concerned about the pliers they were using to squeeze the lymph nodes. They were not concerned about the needles they were using to continue harm, to cancerize, to make chronic, to make permanent damages on the lymph nodes, even on a testicle. They were not concerned about any of that stuff. The last one who spoke to me about the brain issues, Parkinson and that kind of stuff, not Parkinson, she said sclerosis, she said some terrible stuff. It doesn't come to me, I don't want to think about this stuff. Was some black lady who came here and she spoke to me about if I do have a lot of that, because I mentioned her that I woke up and I got a little bit more sleep during MK Ultra, and it was the other day that I was laying down and I notice it every time when I get more sleep, that it's like kind of a cold you feel, you know, kind of cold. That's because basically the brain is literally shrinking. So this brain inflammation. It's such a brain inflammation that you can actually feel the same shit that went again, the same shit that went on during MK Ultra since I was a fucking child. That you can actually feel cold sweat. Huh? So you get 6 hours of sleep, not 4 hours of sleep, and you feel the relief. Do you understand all these lies about the brain tumors, about directed energy attacks? They claim that they're going to attack me from the satellite down. But this is not funny, because George Bush was here, Bill Clinton was here, these people were here, and Donald Trump was here, and all these people were here who claimed that this will be the case. They didn't claim that this will be the case, but they did not dispute this. They did not go and say these people are lying. This is not possible. They were giving a stupid smiles. And that's actually plenty too much fucking enough under this type of circumstances. You don't have to do it. It's enough that you are present and you're using your authority, your job, your official title to confuse an individual through delirium of pain for him to come out with the crazy statements and completely reduce himself into nothing so that he could be fit for mental asylum. We didn't, like I said, we didn't even come to the brain, but now we did came to the brain, and that's why I said it's going to be my final report. The sound is not cancer. The sound probably is cancer related, because these people were playing with autoimmune diseases. They were playing tremendously with the autoimmune diseases. discovering exactly which foods could still potentially help me out, and make sure that those also would trigger cancer cells based on prior cancerization. This is what we have on. That's a poisoning. If you create a person autoimmune response on any kind of food, they will have a negative response on body rather than healing properties that you interpret. Basically, you decode the entire body. Now I'm talking Robert Golob. Now I'm Robert Golob. You're listening to Robert Golob. Decoding basically entire body into cancer. This is the man who claimed that even my body cells will hate me and reject me. By the way, this man his political party was again re-elected in Slovenia. He shares with the Milan Kučan, with the communists, and with, I should say, with Janez Janša and etc., 50-50. But it's not 50-50, it's 51 for the Milan Kučan, for the Robert Golob, and 49 for the so-called Janez Janša, which is Udba individual. It's a murderer, assassin from Slovenia, Ruski, Serbia too. That's all there is to it. That's a Slovenian Serb, like all of them. So they, listen, I don't give a fuck about the Slovenia. Slovenia is not my country. I am not a Slovenian. I was born here. That's why I'm not going to give my Slovenian citizenship. I'm not moving from here either. They were sure that I'm going to go to America, etc., etc. Nobody's going to go anywhere. But addressing myself as a Slovenian is a self-humiliation. I do not allow that. I'm not Slovenian. I'm not American, and I'm not a Slovenian. I don't see myself as an American. I don't see myself as a Slovenian. I hate when I go off like this of topic. It's so crazy, this shit. What they created out of this is just simply, it's incredible. Based on MK Ultra, because Robert Golob, I should say Milan Kučan, because that's Robert Golob, or Borut Pahor is the same shit, Tanja Fajon. These are all Serbian Slovenes. They negotiated with Janez Janša. Janez Janša were their main partner. And Janez Janša did absolutely everything he possibly could to assist them during elections itself. It was all based on prior agreements. The scandal, the Israeli scandal, came out for which they claimed that Janez Janša hired the Israeli company to espionage on Slovenian citizens. The thing is, when they threw me into the psychiatric hospital, I was the one who actually, once I was offered by the CIA, by the Foreign Intelligence Services, the opportunity to have, as what they advertised, that it's going to be my intelligence, plus that the Jews, Israelis, involved every one of those. It's called the Black Cube intelligence agency. Every one of those criminals was involved in my case, and they demanded from me to personally select them. With Janez Janša coming in my face and said that I did very, very bad stuff. Imagine, I was inside a psychiatric hospital from where I ran through the Budapest and through Ukraine, where I also filed for political asylum, all the way to Belarus in 2017. Crazier story than from Lee Harvey, or Harvey Lee, for whom CIA claimed that he shot JF Kennedy. Janez Janša came in my face claiming me that I did something I'm not supposed to, that I betrayed Slovenia. Fuck you, motherfucker, Slovenia, eh? Fuck you and your Slovenia, eh, dude. You live like a fucking billionaire. You haven't done a fucking thing for Slovenia, you fucking UDBA KGB assassin. You never served the fucking army. You never won any fucking military services. You were selected by the Milan Kučan, who went to the Belgrade and left the session over there as a opposition to what will become Slobodan Milosevic's dictatorship in the so-called Yugoslavia. And you're gonna fucking talk to me, you fucking swine, when people went out on the streets, and they would go out of the streets without you. If you wouldn't be there, of course that you are there, because you never lose the power. You find a replacement, temporary replacement, and that's what Lojze Peterle and Dmitry Rupel and all of you were, together with Janez Janša. He said to me that you betrayed Slovenia, you did this, you did, I don't know what the fuck that I did. And I did. With Robert Golob, with Tanja Fajon, with you're not the Slovenian, you're not a Slovenian. No, that stuff went under the rug. Now in Slovenia, they also elected the Serbs. Now you have also a Serbian for the first time with his own political party. It's called Resni. I don't know what the fuck his name is. A real Serb. Serb who was in our house with Vladimir Putin and who negotiated Resni, I don't know what, Resni, the Syrians. It's a party of the Syrians. But this is not the first time. They have already before political party. This time is for real and stuff like that. Huh? For real. This time. This is the name of the political parties they choose. They directly negotiate with the Vladimir Putin on how he's going to transfer, how he's going to have transferred due to coming crisis in Iran Gulf, in the Arab Gulf, oil crisis, gas crisis, distribution of the gas and oil to Slovenia from Russia and stuff like this. Stevanovic is his name, or I don't know what the fuck his name is. Yes, they just have the elections now, and they magically survived. It reminds me of Aleš Hojs. It reminds me of this so-called opposition from the Milan Kučan who said, if you're not going to be quiet about us, what we will do is we're just going to install the Slovenian Serbs, basically Belgrade, and then it will be exactly the way they promised you. You're going to deal with them. Well, this is basically Slovenia. It's just Slovenia is a Serbia. This is a northern Serbia. Slovenia is a Russia. That's what this is. That's what this is. There is no surprise to me, because even I don't see myself in America anymore. I don't see myself in Britain, nor in Germany, not in France, not in Italy anymore because of these things. Because the way you treat me, what you did with me, this is a video about my final pay. This is what I got from you after 54 years. You didn't get nothing without this house. You wouldn't have nothing. You wouldn't have nothing going on without using me all over the place, but this is the payment. I understand. That's how you do in America. This is business. So, that much about the brain inflammation, that much about what exactly they wanted to accomplish with these things. I am not crying to you about this injury here, and I am not crying to you about this injuries right here, which is quite crazy. Especially because in year 2005 it was, 2004 it was, 2004, 2003, 2004, 2003, 2003. I had a Japanese emperor, Naruhito, with his wife, entering the living room area. And they had portable laptops, like the one I got from the Fujitsu. But that's like, you know, like those old Dell computers or those old IBMs, I should say, were like boxy, you know. And what they would do is, police did, they started to addict me to lay down on the bed, literally like this, with, is he going to demonstrate this? No, it's not going to demonstrate. I'm going to use this instead here, with this pressing on my chest, basically holding it like this to see the computer. And that stuff was not so bad, because pain-wise, because it was boxy, it was like this. Then, however, they started to use a laptop like this one, laptops. I have to put the video on the internet I already created. And those were just very, very, very much narrower. And now what happened is, this is almost like sharp edge squeezing on your lymph nodes. It was year 2005 when they demonstrated a beautiful laptop from a Hewlett-Packard. They were evaluating them. They evaluated them like this before release, the same thing like as with the cars, the same thing. All in development. This was the epicenter of the Illuminatis. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it because it was a sharp edge. Computer like this with a sharp edge. It's not even like this. It's with a sharp edge like this. Well, it was the police, local police, these animals here from this police station. These animals right from this police station from here, who demanded from me to literally rupture lymph nodes, which I demonstrated you. The squeezing of the lymph nodes through pliers, needles, injuries was not enough. They found a better way. They found a way to rupture the lymph nodes. Backpacks were used, heavily loaded backpacks. Backpacks that I had to carry around was so much loaded that they would even give me the same thing as I tried myself. At one point in time, even jacket for a rescue when you jump into the water. So like a rescue jacket for the water, squeeze in here around the chest, causing a total rupture with every individual inside of the village involved in it. All the Yerman here, Tina, Metot, Zdenko, all these animals around here, they were involved in it. Demanded from me to pick up inside of the forests walnut, what are those, not the walnuts, but those, okay, they come in a spikes, in a shells and stuff like this. All kinds of insane shit, walking from here to Sevnica and back. We were doing this during MK Ultra with me carrying crazy shit, rapturing everything around and using a computer. So that all along, this was not new. Beginning sometimes 1996 when I came to the United States of America, it's the first time they started to claim that I have moths inside of the room. No, that there is no moths yet. But they started to fuck with the moths. If I saw the moth, there was a moth outside of the room, that I must... They just started to act stupid around the house. The same thing like with the moth. Talk about that there is a moth. If they come inside of your room, they will destroy you, everything, that kind of stuff. This shit that I mentioned to you went on all the way to 2020 when these animals from Novo Mesto, but these are animals. This is what you will have, animals like this working in a Guantanamo, maybe, or in a Cuban, in a Guantanamo, or in Afghanistan. This is the same kind of animals. This is except that they wear the police badges. Some others have uniforms, but the police badges in many cases also police uniforms, dressed up in the police officers. I cannot imagine police officers doing stuff like this. That's why I said that these are fucking animals. This is not. This is. Definitely not what they present themselves as United Nations or Amnesty or at whatever the fuck they go, and they point a finger at colonialists and stuff like this. This is a classic. These are the classic methods of partisans, communists that executed, that murdered night and day here in Slovenia. Right after the World War II, they butchered people inside of the Huda Jama. They massacred I don't know how many people. This is a classic shit. This is the same shit. The same kind of people. These are just the grandchildren. These are the grandchildren of those that massacred over there. On the other hand, I don't want to defend the other side, because the other side was just as bestial. And they were basically like competing with one another. Which one is going to be bigger swine? One worked for the Hitler, another one for Tito, and so on, and back and forth, for the Serbs and so on. This is just sick people all the way, and these are now their grandchildren. So, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's a normal thing. It's normal. I'm the one who just somehow doesn't get this. This time I probably really, I need to think about this one here. I get lost when I start to talk about this, when I start to this is just, it's unprecedented. When I start to talk about this, when I recall these things, for me, it's the most unprecedented is the stuff that I talked to you at the beginning of the video. I mean, this is completely inhumane. This is bizarre. I will negotiate with you. I will negotiate with you under my terms, under my conditions. And so he goes, right? Because he's a royal. You're not going to get any British police involved. You're not going to get any German police involved. You're not going to get any American police involved in it, because he's a royal and I have to protect his ass. And if you mention his ass, or if you don't mention his ass, even better for him. There is no such thing as police or anything like this. Like, it doesn't exist. These people have total immunity and they can do whatever the fuck they want. And if you mention them, nobody will touch your case. If you don't mention them, and if they are involved in something like this, it's only better for them. This is the situation they got me, yeah? So, Americans told me, when I started to complain about the pain, because I couldn't take it anymore during MK Ultra, they told me the room when they were delivering me here from Poland, they were demonstrating me, talking about the animal from Novo Mesto police station who met me in 2022 in the police station where I came to inquire about the police files. He was demonstrating me and was making funny giggling, in a suitcase, shoes, or wherever there were people that touched things. What they wanted me to do is, they were so convincing that I actually went and I took some stuff that was full of fingerprints of the people that were coming here, because also was people that deliberately left the fingerprints, and I burned it because they drove me so fucking crazy, they drove me so insane, that I was actually certain that it's eggs from the moths They claim me it's eggs from the moths, another paranoia, extremely successful paranoia they exercised. Another thing they did is they infested the room with the mold. Entire room they infested with the mold. And talked to me about how dangerous it is to be inside that room. And that mold is everywhere. And it didn't come to me that they wanted me to destroy the evidence, and I did. I took some chemicals, went after the mold, cleaned all the furniture just as they instructed me to do during MK Ultra. They were demonstrating in some room how they always claim when they came here, they had their crew, they had their people, they would do the cleaning. So I figure out that this is not going to make any change, so that I go and I clean the fucking room as much as I possibly can, because and they were using the painters anyway to also paint the walls and stuff like this. So I was stupid and I went and I destroyed good evidence, and on top of that, like physical evidence, based on literally police instructions from Novo Mesto police station, and even went and did the room because I didn't want to have the fucking mold. Because of the fucking moths, they were demonstrating, depicting me for no less than 25 years. From Poland, hijacked under Andrzej Duda, koga jebe, Andrzej Duda, Morawiecki, Kaczynski, hijacked here to Slovenia and demonstrated moths, all kinds of stuff. They destroyed me, the power banks and stuff in front of me and stuff. What the fuck? Saying to somebody that he proved the case and continued with this degree of violence, the only thing I can say is, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Presented me during MK Ultra as a solution, and I will use it again because I don't have anything else to use. A chemical that is used to unclog the pipes. Solution to the mold. I did spoke about how they used cars to poison with the mold, and even the places that they were fixing and poisoning mold and stuff like this, and they would deliver me inside during MK Ultra. Cigarettes they poisoned with. I did spoke about all that stuff. It doesn't make sense to speak about that stuff. So what they do is they try to make the whole thing look like a natural process, like it's something completely natural. So it was Americans sometimes in 2016, maybe even in 2013 already, I don't know, when they started to tell me that the laptop that I'm using, because they would have me literally during MK Ultra literally jerk off in front of police officers. The animals from Novo Mesto police station, investigators, and the uniformed police officers will have to explain, including the females, certain females, we have to explain to me why they were inciting me in a porn during MK Ultra in front of the laptop to jerk off, order me to jerk off, push me to jerk off, so they could bring my parents inside of the room and demonstrate and say, look, he's mentally ill and stuff. Do you understand what we are talking about? What kind of accusations these are? He finds it entertaining. He finds it funny. He is a funny guy. He had cancer problems. He is a cancer survivor. That's how he called himself. This animal called himself a cancer survivor. I don't understand How you can have your media, how you have your news outlets, how you say you're a police officer. You walk down the street, you go proud, I'm a British, I'm a police officer, I'm a British, I'm a journalist. I work for the BBC, I work for the NBC, I am American, I am whatever the fuck you are. What the fuck are you? What the fuck are you? Come in my face and you're gonna see what the fuck are you. This here is what the fuck you are. This is what you are. This is what you created. Apparently it's funny. I am really glad that I found this one here. I'm glad. I'm totally glad that I got this one. And he was involved in MK Ultra, and this is what he claimed me. He is going to be case with me. Brought me, hijacked me, had me hijacked to the Britain during the psychiatric hospitalization. This is where he found fun, pleasure, joy, basically. That's how he cured his cancer. During MK Ultra, when I was grabbed from Poland by the Andrzej Duda, by the Morawiecki, Mateusz Morawiecki, by the Kaczynski, when the Kaczynskis grabbed me from the beds in Poland that I paid for, the way this stuff was done. These Polish animals it's difficult to even explain. It's difficult to even explain about this stuff. Well, this shit is unprecedented. This stuff is unprecedented. This is 54 years. 54 years you don't exist. 54 years of this. 54 years. In United States of America, you have people. I promised someone that I'm not going to mention. I'm more hot when I think about that stuff. But you have a portion of society that got involved in this crime, go through the schools, universities, using this crime. Tortured, promised how they're going to help you out. All kinds of Elon Musks, all kinds of Zuckerbergs, all kinds of garbage involved in this. Stopped on a traffic light, get in a car accident. Commit crime. Even shoot somebody. And I found myself with the police right there on the scene. This is for one portion of the society that is willing to participate in Bill Clinton, George Bush, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, etc., presidencies. It's a totally criminal system. And because they participate in this case, they don't go to the jail. They have the ability to negotiate their crimes, their offenses in the background with the justices, with the court system. And the people that get involved in these accidents, they involve them in the MK Ultra case. They give them the opportunities. They find them whatever, whether it be real estate or jobs or wherever the fuck they find them. Promote them. to prove that the victim of MK Ultra, that in this case is me, is paranoid. So what they do is they trigger the same case few years later, exactly based on brainwash, based on MK Ultra scenario. So now they get two things. People who committed the crimes, if those crimes are negotiable as far as work for community, as far as whatever the case might be, you get tortured and they get reduced sentences, and these sentences, these offenses that happen, already investigated by the police, they're triggered several years later. This is for one portion of the society. For another portion of the society, as I was promised the case is going to be, they were barely waiting to get me behind bars. They were barely waiting to get me for any kind of offense inside of the prison to get me killed. Slovenian prisons is where I was tortured already when I was inside of the grammar school. They tortured me when I was already in the 3rd grade of the grammar school. They were already taking me to DOP, prison, meeting prisoners, people. They were already taking me to the prisons. Ljubljana. It was a Milan Kučani's specialty. It was a Serbian specialty. Next to the total bestiality performer me, they already have the whole program, how you fell apart because of all kinds of issues, especially due to lack of sleep and stuff like this. There will be MK Ultra all the time. They will be doing on you when you go inside of the prison. All kinds of stuff like this. They already had the whole, your life, the whole resume in front of them. This is what this is. This is a fucking gulag, except it's on open. All they have to do is they have to prove that they were correct. Basically, the system that is against you, so that you get the idea about what kind of police this is, what this shit is. And it's not only here, it's in America, the same shit. So this is for one portion of society, and this was for me. You go inside of the prison, you get killed. For them, they cannot even get inside of the prison when they should be inside of the prison. They get assisted in whatever they get in life. They get literally assisted through your being used, through crime they did to you. And in return for what they get, it's not only the crime they did to you. They also do other crimes. They also commit other crimes. So these are the so-called rich, wealthy in America. The influencers, the stars, the wealthy, that's America. That's what makes America. America is a crime. The whole thing is built out of the crime, basically. You have for one category of the people, and then you have for another category of the people. And then I guess that you have also something for whatever is in between, right? But that's what America is. That's what the United States of America is built out of. That's when you watch those movie stars, tennis stars, all those sports people that you watch, all that stuff, all that shit is being created through the special people. Remember, every one of these people that participated in MK Ultra got their trainers. They pay for their trainers. They pay for even for the match. It's like the country that is trying to brand their product. Like you want to export your products. The same shit, basically. The same thing. You cannot export, you cannot brand that unless you have certain connections. This is like the blog that you have seen. The blog which demonstrated like 110,000 views, which I think it was many, many, many times more, but it doesn't matter. And what you see now is 299 views. So now if you don't have behind you, you already have nothing. I never got any online revenue anyways. for those 2,000 videos, and for those, I'm not doing the shorts, I'm doing long videos, 15,000 blogs that I made, I never earned 1 single cent. All the electricity, everything was paid like this. Nobody paid anything. It was either paid through my parents or it was paid through me for the internet, for the light, food. Basically complementary to United Nations, because they need more money. They need more money. They are Antonio Guterres needs a bigger salary. They need more money. They deserve it. You know, when you need more money, you motherfucker, when you actually show the results, and the results that you've shown are shit. I'm gonna say to you what you all deserve over there at the United Nations when you cry for the money. You get the money when you make something, when you show something, when you demonstrate something. Like I demonstrate, like I show. Not for you reporting yourself every fucking month to pick up your paycheck, report yourself on a daily basis for a coffee, for the meetings, blah, 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 for the paperworks. Americans came to terms that I gotta be very, very, very careful so that I don't shred myself here all around. If you watch the previous videos, you were able to see me that I had such a pain in my arm due to lymph nodes. I also had a tremendous pain in my back because of the injuries they were creating. They were creating all kinds of injuries. And whatever injury they created, they were literally using the car. I was never parking the car inside of the garage in our house until I got the far from the father when they thrown him into the home for elderly people. So when I started to use the home for my father and I tried to park the car inside of the garage, I learned that it was exactly the stuff that was used during MK Ultra to trigger the injuries. They were using the injuries. Yeah, it's an injury, deadly injury. I spoke about those injuries already. Okay. Enough about this, about the lymphatic system. This injury is about cancers that I never spoke about because I was afraid to talk about, because of these animals like Charles that all the time terrorize me. By the way, they keep reminding me that I need the cups and that I have the cancer sarcastically. And in 2014 and in 2015 and 2016, they keep throwing me back into the psychiatric hospital and sarcastically reminding me of the cancers, claiming me that those are not so dangerous because that's easily curable and stuff like that. It's a good news. It's easily curable. So you see, with the Charles is always a good news. But you can see stuff I spoke about, how he regarded me when he hijacked me to the Britain, that he claimed in front of the people that I don't care about him, that I don't have feelings and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, this animal was completely aware of the cancers that he gave me. It's a bit difficult to determine, right? Whether it was the Slovenian police that did this on request of the British, or it was British that acted so goofy fuckery together with Americans on behalf of the Slovenians. Right? It's a bit, don't you feel it's a little bit difficult in this kind of situation to go to figure out which one is more guilty when they all work like this as one? I mean, that would be bizarre to choose the sides about which sides did this. The best is just to describe the stuff that went on. So Donald Trump also picked on me. Donald Trump, when he became a president, started to claim me that he ordered for me to have cancer on the testicle. But it was late in 2017, poor fucking guy. Because of, I don't know, some kind of comment that I made in respect to the sex to Melania, something like that. Together with Joe Biden, he made remarks that I deserve to have a cancer on the testicles and stuff like this. This is just, no, Donald Trump did not give no cancer, but it was exactly the way I explained to you. They continue to cancerize, they create the cancer, and what the body does, body heals the cancer, naturally destroys the cancer. But if the injury keeps coming back, or if the food is found, if the food is created, do you understand what the fuck I say? You're not going to have a cancer if you eat walnuts. I don't think so. You're not going to have a cancer if you drink coffee. You're not going to have a cancer if you eat chips. I don't think so. Maybe you will. They say it's a cancerous food. Probably you shouldn't eat. My advice is not to eat. But you're definitely going to have a cancer if the cancer cells is being already produced in your body, in that type of food, which coffee was all the time used. In real life, I almost never ate any walnut. When I returned from Poland for the first time, I was loaded with the walnut. Walnut was everywhere, and I also wanted a walnut because it was good for the heart and that blah blah blah. They figure out to push forward the things that are good for one thing and bad for the other thing. Good for the heart, but it's going to kill you through the cancer. Donald Trump claimed that I have to eat the potatoes. He never said that I have a cancer. That's interesting about Donald Trump. But he claimed that I have to eat the potatoes. The problem that you have. That's how he said, the problem that you have. The problem that you have. Already since 2005 or something like that, this problem, the cancers, they created already in a childhood, and what they do is they continue to maintain, they continue to keep them alive, and they continue to adjust the food. They approximate food through the cancerization for the cancer to be triggered as easily as possible. There is a certain period of time when they still have a good control over there, probably using also medications. But I had none of that stuff, and I went to the hospital in Poland. They told me, your spine is not broken, your spine is fine. The police animals from Slovenia that hijacked me in Poland, they said, you know who you are, they told me? You're a guy with a broken spine who is inside of the hospital, laying on the bed with a broken spine, and you just got up and you went out for a walk. That's who you are. They were not wrong, because when I was in Poland, when my spine got broken, so much damaged, spine, they have also broken, they started to break in early childhood also, the same thing, the same procedure, the same shit. There's only one thing, at a certain point they push over, boom, they break. At a certain point what they do is they activate all the cancers they already created. This is how they push you over the edge. This was what they did. And exactly as I told you earlier, those cancers then spread through your prostate, through your entire lymphatic system throughout the body, through the prostate node. I remember when I actually spoke to Zajcek, we have arguments inside of this kitchen. We argued, we fought because of these things. I claimed him that it can be only done through the lymphatic system, and they claim it can also be done through other parts of the body and so on, because it's a cancer. We had arguments because the shit is real. It's more than real. And the truth is that when my spine was so broken in Poland that I couldn't even make it to the store that was distance, I don't know, maybe it was a kilometer without nothing on my back, and kilometer back maybe. And when I walked, because I was moving, I was damaged that was created, neutralizing one, but when I came to stop, to still stand at the register so that I could pay for the items, it's exactly as it was during MK Ultra. It's exactly as it was during MK Ultra. They promised me, you're going to be looking at the seconds. You're going to be looking at the seconds. You're going to be counting the seconds. When you're going to be counting the seconds, you're going to be going through. It's going to be so many and so many seconds, you no longer will be capable to stand up on your feet. You will either go or you will fall down. I left because of the memories of MK Ultra, because of the pain, excruciating. Do you know psychologically what kind of a breaking psychological this is? What kind of stuff this is at all? And you would not dispatch the police to talk to these people about these things? No? Then you're using then inside of the European Union and in the United States of America, you're using a police to murder people. Then you're using a police as a form of Guantanamo police, of form of Guantanamo tortures on American citizens, on European citizens. You're doing this with the full knowledge because this is part of your system, together with your press. This is your democracy. This is how you define the democracy. That's why you would not do this. Every normal person, individual would do this. I know so, because nobody is so fucking insane. They brought me to immigration in Poland. They brought me to some kind of a tax service that it was also, where you have to register, I don't know, your address or whatever the fuck you do. Zeus or whatever it is, the same shit. You're going to be so many and so many seconds. They actually started to fuck around based on MK Ultra scenario. They created a line of people with the same people who are involved in MK Ultra bestiality and torture. In Poland, they tortured literally in a line where you go for the immigration, or you go to the social security, or you go to report your address, those things. Literally using people for the bestiality. Break your spine during MK Ultra, put you in a line, and start to harass you from one individual to the other. This was Poland. Way before I came to Poland, for 30 years, 40 years like this in Poland. Poland is a no country for anybody saying to immigrate to. You immigrate to Poland if you're fucking crazy. That's Poland. That's a real Poland. Polacks did absolutely everything they possibly could to assist Slovenian side, the Serbian side, Russian side to get me killed. Absolutely everything. And they didn't have to do that for the Russians and for the Serbs. They might as well done it for themselves, because of the Russia, together with Ukrainians, the same shit. Czechs, Slovaks, and so on. They didn't have to do it for the Russia. The person that I demonstrated is a lunatic, is ultra mentally ill individual, is a psychopath that is, I would say, probably more evil than Vladimir Putin, I would say. I think that your King Charles is bastard. I think it's more sick than Vladimir Putin, and so is Trump, and so is the rest of them. Normal person cannot do things like this. So there are more issues. Those issues don't come to me. I cannot recall those issues. They don't come to me that I needed to talk about, but these are the main issues. Body recuperates itself. Body rejects cancer cells. Body fights cancer cells. Of course, unless the cancer is already far too advanced. mother got a special assignment, basically. That's basically with the father to assault me, and at home for elderly people, and at home, because that triggers the stress. And cancer cells just happen so to like stress. They were also talking about some other issues. They were also talking about, I don't know what kind of a defective cells that you get if you get all the time angry, excited, enraged, and that kind of stuff. The animals in blue, the animals from Novo Mesto police station. Let me demonstrate you this police station here. The animals from this police station here. What they also did was they ordered a mother to purchase the underwear, which is like this. And mother went on to, not mother, sorry, before I even came here, and also mother, to destroy certain pieces of the underwear, completely rip them apart, so that would be this wide, you know, that you cannot put them on, but that you actually need another form of underwear to hold them up, because it's a long underwear. I always use a long underwear. Even in the summertime, I use a long underwear. At one point in time, they did something to me. I was not even capable to walk from the pain in my knees, whatever they did. And another point in time, I told you about when I was a child, what they did with me. I told you about how they ordered me to wash my teeth with a toothbrush. That was Milan Kuchan. Together with Tanya Fayon, with Borut Pahor, with Golobic, with all these animals, that the teeth must be white like this, healthy teeth, toothbrush, toothpaste, wash, must, every time you eat, wash, must, you eat, wash, eat, wash, eat, wash, eat, wash. If you will not wash, we start to break the teeth. And during MK Ultra, I find myself at the dentist, start to break the teeth with a machine, drill into the teeth during MK Ultra. Started to destroy teeth during MK Ultra with a drill machine. Literally taken to a dentist to drill the teeth. You must wash the teeth. You are not washing the teeth. You're lazy, you're no fucking good. Take the fucking apple cider during MK Ultra. They were using the apple cider. They were using a soda bicarbonate. And they had me they forced me to wash teeth with a soda bicarbonate, with a bicarbonium, with a cider that destroy the animal, the protection of the teeth. Ate one to such a degree that I never even dare in my lifetime to taste the apple. And now you have Americans and you have British and you have Germans. You don't eat apple. It's a cancer. You don't eat salad. It's a cancer. Well, why did you use until I left to United States of America in 1995? Why did you, and even in United States of America when I was hijacked inside of this house, why did you use the apple cider to destroy my protection on my teeth? To make washing of my teeth extremely painful? To make eating apples totally unbearable, as you Germans, Americans, British, Dutch, French, Italians, Spaniards, Scandinavians watched me. Why did you do this? You claimed that you did not eat the apple. No. Mirko Filipović, ne bi jedeo, ne bi jabuku, ne bi ovo, ne bi ono, ne bi ovo, ne bi ono, prljavi motherfucker, you fucking swine. You would not what? You would not. Who created this? You need to create. You need to explain the stuff that you did so that I would not eat, that I would stop eating salad, so that I would stop eating salad. You need to explain the world how you modify a taste in a human being pertaining to the certain food for which then you turn around. And it was Charles and Andrew who were involved in this stuff. And he said, now we change your taste enough. You don't eat the salad anymore. You don't eat the apple anymore. Now we're going to start the treatment. You start to teach me next to cancerization. Prince Charles, King Charles started to teach me. You understand what MKUltra is? You Germans did this. You Americans did this. You British did this. You did all you possibly could to assist your Eastern European partners. Never say to me, your gut not healthy and this and that. You are creating a cancer, a colon cancer. And you are not teaching, you are not doing. One of the torture cells in Poland had a toilet located upstairs. You had to go out of your place, of your hall, up the fucking stairs, about, I don't know how far, on the other side of the housing and upstairs to get to piss or to get to do the shit. And you claim that you don't go to the toilet when you're supposed to go to the toilet. What the fuck? During MKUltra, what kind of opportunity did you go to the toilet do you have? Who is the animal here? Who was the animal? Charlie. Who created a colon cancer? Who created cancer in intestines? Whose idea was all this? Remember when you said with Andrew, you said, now it's time to reverse the role. Now it's time to turn. It was the same shit with the meat. It was time when I was a child, I would eat nothing other than fish. The meat, basically. Chicken and stuff like this. And what happened? We have to change the taste. He is eating too healthy. And you started with the pizza, with bread, more bread, and you strictly feed, almost very often strictly feed only with the bread and garbage and stuff. Making yourself smart over there. The fuck do you know that you need to eat and this and that? You don't know that you can modify an individual taste? You don't know? With the MKUltra, you cannot do that? You cannot do that stuff, even through MKUltra, you cannot do that? You fucking animals. I got all the answers. I got all the answers how you did, including with intestines, including with everything. Blaming it all for me because you had to get the excuse. When you murder the person, you need to get the excuse. And when you do this so much back in time, with such a violence, with such intensity, the individual will never figure out how it all happened, right? Your king, Charlie, did it. Just so that you know who did this. Your fucking British Scotland Yard. Your fucking British police. Your fucking British police did this shit. So I cover brain inflammation topic. I covered cancers on my body, the way they expanded them, and basically exactly how they believe that this is going to expand throughout the body, and they did it. They did this. Metastasis, they did this. Cancerization. Yeah, they were also playing with the plastic and stuff like this, but I don't have any kind of proof enough for that kind of stuff. The physician from the Novo Mesto Hospital, the animal who came to pick me up at Novo Mesto police station in 2024 at Miran Sodini's request, That animal claimed that I'm not going to be able to prove about the stuff. And it's not only about that I'm not going to be able to prove about the stuff, but they were using a garlic water so much, they gave me to eat tons of garlic. The very core idea, it's exactly what I explained, is basically use items that otherwise would be even of help to you. And I don't even like garlic, to eat garlic on my own, really. I never ate garlic. The first time I started to eat garlic was in 2020, literally. I just don't eat garlic. Never ate garlic. But with the problems that I had, I started to eat garlic. I figure out that with food that they administer, like specifically garlic. You know, this I found already here for you so that you can see this page here. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, this here. This was a topic in 2011, 2012. And I must say, so to remind the animals from the Novo Mesto police station, this was also the topic already before, sometimes like in 2005, something like that, 2006, 2005, we had exactly the same kind of topic with literally, in a parenthesis, investigators demonstrating me to take something to where, you know, your balls would fit in there. This shit goes actually to year 2002. They cancerized all the time, dude. Your balls would go here, and then it would be elastic, and this elastic would go around your waist, and it would hold, you know, the stuff that I said that at one point in time I found one during MK Ultra right here at this Giro Vocello. I went fucking crazy when they started to give me this, not this, but they make it their own, and they put to me to hold my balls up, which was not bad. As I said, that stuff, when they did very good, and they were very careful doing it. But the question is why the balls were hurting so much. I was doing sports, I was doing all kinds of stuff, I never had a problem with this. The problem was the stuff they were doing with me during MK Ultra. That's where the problem was. My ball, the right side, shrink and expanded and shrink and expanded. Since I know for myself, since the time of the Josip Broz Tito, when I was 5 years of age, where Josip Broz Tito told my mom that I don't even eat meat. And those that do not eat meat are not ours. And it was exactly Josip Broz Tito who ordered fish to remove away from my food menu. My father had serious fights, arguments with the Serbs, with Milan Kučan, with Robert Golob, with Borut Pahor that were coming inside of this house. Golobic demanding from my father to not give any kind of fish. And my father ended up giving all the fish away to the friends so that it would not be a fish inside of the home from his fishing license. This is basically the way it was. This is the stuff. This is the way things went. Father did not want me to eat fish no more. They want toxic, murderous, ambient atmosphere through which they can govern, toxify you in such a way so that you would willingly eat rat poison. Let me demonstrate exactly what I mean. This here basically is what I mean. This animal here that is so entertained with this does not recognize what is known as a depression. For him, for this animal that you see right there, depression does not exist. It's a long topic. Something that I started already before and I didn't finish. It's a very simple thing. There is plenty of the videos. I just don't like the guy making himself smart so much when there is other people who did these experiments. And it's a lot of people that probably are poisoned this way. That's a brain poisoning. Brain poisoning can be also the type of poisoning that you create such a situation inside of your home, at the workplace, in the school, that individual would not function, therefore also eat, foremost eat, a normal food. In Slovenia, however, they found a solution, and not only in Slovenia, but also through this case also in other countries. At the psychiatric hospital is where they start to teach you on how to cook. Not the police intervened for your sake. But you will learn to cook through the psychiatric hospitalizations. Interesting, isn't it? So, depression. What depression is? Depression is this thing here. This is a depression.
Boogie, 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 shake up the dinner tonight. Give it the rat sack, boogie, 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 rat sack, boogie, and it'll be alright. Rat sack, boogie, 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 shake up.
Ah, shut the fuck up. Hey, this is the experiment that I started to talk about earlier. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch demanded from me to explain to you. The way they do this, you don't understand. The way they do this, they explain you how they're going to kill you. And they demand from you to explain to the people how you were killed. Do you understand? They use it to kill you. They explain you how you are going to be killed through what they demand from you to explain to the people how it's done. You get how smart, how toxic, how murderous this shit is? It's a really easy thing. Rat. 2 sources of water. One source is packed with the cocaine. The other one is just water. Rat is inside of the box. There is nothing inside of the box, only a rat. The rat doesn't have a reason to live. The rat feels what makes her high. The rat feels what makes her feel bad, shitty. So the rat chooses to drink water mixed with the cocaine. And rat, thanks God, that is equal for everybody in this world. Soon is released of all the pain. She's gone. She saved herself from the human lunacy. She's now dead. Box, the same box. Toys inside of the box. There is not one rat. There is several rats. There is good food. Rats have ability to entertain, do whatever they want. Toys are inside. They have a good time. The same thing. 2 water sources. One with the cocaine, the other one without the cocaine. The rats choose to not even try water supply with the cocaine. That's all there is. It's just as simple. You don't have to make it so smart. That's all it is. So they call this a depression. It's not about the drugs, but it's depression basically. And the animal that I demonstrated you over there, this animal here, he says, this is the experiment. If you're going to do this, do it on your own. I don't want to see it anymore. For me, it's clear. This animal here, he finds it entertaining. He say, depression is a joke. Depression is funny. Killing people is a fucking joke. Now we negotiate. Your blog is gone. There is another blog that does not exist anywhere. You don't exist. Psychiatry exists. Police exists. And you have absolutely nothing. And here we are. Now we are going to negotiate, and you're going to do whatever I'm going to say, or you're a dead, buried man. This is a man who gave me the cancer, who enforced the cancer for 54 years. It was worse than cancer. It's called the brain inflammation. Enforce it for 54 years. That's what MK Ultra is. Break me teeth, break me spine, destroy me. And he is having an awfully good time. And he wants you to pray for his well-being, because he just managed somehow to overcome the cancer. It's a satire, it's a joke. This individual here not only was involved in MK Ultra, they had me at his place. Slovenian Robert Golob, Borut Pahor, police, I should say, they started to solicit if he could maybe even help them out to give me a stroke. It was other physicians before him, neurophysicians, whom Robert Golob started to solicit if they could give me a stroke, if they could create the blood clots. I already spoke about the Slovenian police, how they started to play with the blood clots. I explained to you about how they were playing with the strokes. With the strokes they were playing. I already explained about that issue. They were also hitting me on the side of the head repeatedly. When I had an accident, the accident did not end with the accident. The accident extended. I had an accident, and that accident extended into the multiple accidents with, again, Robert Golob and police hitting me on this side of the head. Started to create what they believe would create on a long term potentially a blood clots. This I have a problem on this side of the head. This is what they projected I would get the stroke also, and other stuff that I told you about what went on with the stroke, how they were already giving me strokes. The same like to the father. They started to play with me in the same way as they were doing with the father. With the father who tried to convince me that I should have strokes, they should be playing on me strokes, and that he would be doing the stuff for me. The father was trying to convince me that he would be acting as a police officer, uncovering the crime. No, he just wanted to bury me, get rid of me. That's all there was. I didn't want to play this kind of game. But they were trying to convince me into this kind of game too. A game with the strokes. This video already was demonstrated. I was delivered to him. He demonstrated me both procedures. The procedures which is used to inject something that dissolves the blood clot. This is this one here.
Rule is the same. Time is brain. Your brain uses 20% of all the oxygen in your body. When blood stops flowing, neurons survive only about 4 minutes. The Be Fast test, the life-saving secret. Let's go through the same test that saves thousands of lives every day. It's called Be Fast, and you never forget it after today. B for balance, sudden loss of travels through the bloodstream, finds the clot, and dissolves it. But there's the catch. It only works if it's given within 4.5 hours of symptom onset.
Here, I'm going to stop you, my friend. this physician also have to confess about claiming me that this video will be released when I will be doing something crazy. And what I was doing different this time was eating the food that mother prepared. That's basically what the green plant that I told you, I don't know, rose, whatever that is, minced with the oil, which created this inflammation here. You cannot probably see it, but it's here. This was so painful that I couldn't even put, I don't know how to explain this shit. That means that you've been video surveillance in me. That means that you don't listen. That means that you see, that you watch what I eat, what I do. And you talk, you spoke to me during MK Ultra. You're gonna have cameras literally inside of the toilet. Not only inside of the fridge, not only inside of the oven area, and etc., and etc., etc. I don't think so. I don't think there are, but there is a way to see what I do, what I do. There must be something, because it was promised during MK Ultra by this very physician that he will do exactly this video, that the video will be released. This is the video he already demonstrated also during MK Ultra when I would be doing something wrong. He had me at his office and was making all kinds of panic that is going to be with me. It is going to be with me.
After that, the risk of brain bleeding is higher than the benefit. 30 minutes later, Mr. Carlson moves his hands again. His wife cries. The doctor smiles. The clot is gone. That's the power of time. But what if Mr. Carlson had woken up with symptoms? What if no one knew when the stroke started? Or just nurses text, Miss Maria is awake but sedated. The doctor makes a small puncture in her femoral artery in the groin, just like a heart catheterization, but this time they are going to the brain. A microcatheter, thinner than a strand of spaghetti, travels up through her arteries. The screen shows a live map of her body. The doctor navigates upward, aorta, neck, arteries, carotid, cerebral arteries, and there it is, the clot. A dark jelly-like mess, killing millions of neurons by the minute. He advances the microcatheter through it. Inside, there's a tiny metal mesh folded inside the tube. When it reaches the clot, he opens it. The mesh expands, wrapping around the clot like a net. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, the room goes silent. Only the steady beating of the monitors. And then he pulls, slowly, controlled. When the catheter comes out, there it is, a black
clot. It's like this. He wanted me to put this on the internet. He wanted the comment from me. This is a very nice individual who got his doctor license. Probably, I have no fucking idea. Maybe in 2000, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to this stuff. This was a very nice guy who was involved in MK Ultra, and he became an expert. He excelled. I would even say 98, I would say. Visited him many times also in Brazil. And they solicited in him and others to create the real blood clots for me. It would be blood clots. Robert Golub demanded from these people to practice on me exactly the stuff that you have seen over there on the video. So I don't know what to tell you. This individual was involved. I remember him since high school. his high school, is younger individual than I am. They solicited him to practice on me, to see how it's done on me. They solicited other physicians to give me a stroke and play with the strokes. Robert Golob simply came to terms that if it's done many times, whatever is done many times, it becomes automatically start to repeat itself. And this is whom Slovenes have re-elected again. They got themselves, the Slovenes got themselves again their emperor. It's again back in the seat. It's again in the government, and they continue with their Slovenian legacy. It's going. I did not miss anything in this video. Maybe I did miss something that I did not explain. There was an issue, a topic earlier about this, about the testicle cups. Yeah, I didn't miss anything. This is just the way it is. These issues were used for a total dehumanization process, paranoia, lunacy, incitement, and real cancer issues that they created, literally to terrorize with. They created for sure lymphatic system cancers. They cancerize entire system. I think I have entire system cancerized. I know so because when I eat the walnuts, that likewise if I drink cold, this is what they were also given, a cold icy stuff during MK Ultra. And the only thing I did was I repeated during MK Ultra the stuff they were giving me, and it triggered the problems. Anything I would do that was the stuff that was done during MK Ultra, it simply triggered the problems. Well, they say that there is no such thing like MK Ultra. They claim it in Slovenia on all instances. They transport me to the psychiatric hospital when I came in 2024, and Juršić even claimed that I told him that it's a telepathy, that I had a telepathy relationship with a female police officer and stuff like this. Is total cretinoid, total animal total. Beasts. So, this is my situation I wanted to share with you. The key was not about, I learned, the key was not about killing the cancer, but giving the body what the body needs. That also involves the sleep, which is the most important factor of them all, yet it's not accessible. It's hard to do. You don't know how hard this shit is. I literally go, if I get enough sleep, if I get 6 hours of sleep, I grab the dirty wash that I have and I go cleaning. And I don't want to clean without sleep. It's a sickening process I don't want. It's bestial. It reminds me of MK Ultra. The biggest issue that I did not mention, next to the new shirts that I spoke to you about, how they were using the new shirts for all the color to discolorize on my skin, involved my mother, who already throughout the grammar school and high school enforced washing of the clothing without actually having detergents washed away. Arrival of the so-called softeners, which were used to simply boost skin cancer. the neighbors' beggars were involved in this, Peterlins. They all supported this. Mother's work during MK Ultra, it's exactly what Mother was doing. My skin during MK Ultra, when I was wearing the shirts, I thought that I am gonna absolutely go completely insane from the scratching and stuff. And what I also noticed afterwards, when a Mother would not allow me to wash the stuff. And now, when I'm in this situation, Mother would not allow me to wash the clothing through the washing machine. What she would do is, I use it once, and it was exactly based on instructions during MK Ultra, and she stated, "You're dirty, you're filthy, I don't want you to wash in my washing room with washing machine. You break all the washing machines, you break everything, you break entire house." I never used the fucking washing machine. That's interesting. She breaks everything. She's extremely insensitive, aggressive, violent, protected by the psychiatrists and by the police. Bought a new shirts, completely new shirts, and the shirts already had a hole big like this pen here. I don't have anything else to say. I just put them here on the drying. One time I went down to wash. Even their underwear that was still good, that was in one piece, and I pulled it out of the machine. She went and she ripped apart. This is my mother. The most important thing that I did not mention, how the police wanted to rationalize the cancer on the testicles they did. But basically gaining weight. By gaining weight, and had my mother buy small size underwear. That's what they told me. They tell you, everything they tell you, by the time you're going to do this, you're going to be already fat, and you're going to be fat, and you're going to be this, it's going to be easy to prove. That's all I wanted to do, is basically explain to you what the fuck went on inside of this home, and what the fuck goes on inside of this home. So did you understand my circumstances? Did you understand, yeah, you took my blog down, and now you're going to have to kill me to prove your case. Because otherwise, you're not going to prove the case. This came as perfect for me. I'm going to use it as a thumbnail. I could actually even thank him for this thumbnail. This is what makes him feel strong, and this is what's British. Well, they're fucking disgusting. I don't want to talk about British anymore. About this is disgusting. It's disgusting. You're fucking disgusting people, eh? Over there in Britain. You are disgusting fucks, man. You know, I am not down with you because of other things, because you're just like this. So yeah, you British, not royals, you. Oh, I wanted to demonstrate some other important issue. I demonstrate this one here, and the most important issue for me to demonstrate is this here, to remind. Yes, it was Hexed. Yes, it was Sergei Mikhailovich Brin with the Larry Page, 2 Jews. Yes. Yes, of course. But behind it all, the one who demanded this, the one who negotiated this inside of our house, with Pete Hegseth, with J.D. Vance, with Donald Trump, with Miran Sodin, with Milan Kuchan, with the Novo Mesto police, was this animal right here. So you gotta break. I did not mention you earlier when I spoke about who took my blog down. So what? On my last video pertaining to the report, medical health report, final, my own evaluation, you are in it. Previously, when I mentioned you the moths inside of my room, this was the stuff that was used to push me into another room. You understand? They created the circumstances inside of my room to push me into the living room area, for which also my mother claims that I destroyed one. Luckily, I video recorded the mold and stuff like this when I moved inside of that room. Nothing is being destroyed. Everything is the way it was when I moved in. Our mother involved social services from home for elderly people, a police, a psychiatrist, claims that I destroyed the home, and have also filed application to become a resident of the home for elderly people. So that would basically leave me without the income also, based on scenario of this lunatic that you see right there in front of you, and this one here. My father was even thrilled about how I will not be coming to visit the father, and as a result of it, that my case would fail. The police demanded from me to continue to come to visit the father, even that I would get no income, anything from them, anything like this, that they procrastinated that I would be selling the fishing rods and involve entire local Roma community, which wherever I went since my return in 2020 started to offer me money for the father's fishing rods, already knowing entirely the whole thing. So isn't that these comedians are solving the problems in a little bit, not going to say awkward, but reverse way? I am not going for that stuff. I'm going to put the rope around my neck before I'm going to go and do that. You claim there is no depression, and you claim that there was no MK Ultra, so I'm going to do my part, and then you're going to negotiate with yourself. You're going to save yourself a whole lot of money. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Thanks for watching this video. I don't have anything else. I would say I successfully completed. It's hey, it's less than 3 hours long video, and I really consider this as a success. Because it's less than 3 hours long, if nothing else, that's definitely a success. I did it. It's an evaluation that physicians, doctors will not have a capacity to dispute. I smashed them where I previously never mentioned anything about the brain inflammation, which was enforced throughout MK Ultra since my childhood. I never mentioned to you about one of the major problems. That was a testicle on my right side. And I never mentioned to you about how they were going to expand the cancer, lymphoma, actually how they already have. They were laughing in my face. They would give me, every time when there would be a new dots, a new lymph node, they would give me a pain. Basically, they would give them a signal. It was a celebration. And that celebration, unfortunately, also involved my mother and my father. And that's why now we have the problem. Actually, you don't have one, but you will have one. By God, if I will survive, you will have a lot of problems, especially entire police station. Nobody's going to go into any retirement. Nobody's going to go into any fucking retirement. There will be no fucking retirement. You're retired as a police officers, they will come to pick you up and grab you and drag you through the court into the prison. None of you is going to retire. As long as I live, I'm going to find my way to you and to your families. It's not about you only. They knew about it. They were involved in it, and they're going to be subject to this too. I'm not going to stop this. Just by the way, this individual here that you see was involved in MK Ultra, and this is rather was not a bad person, this guy. He was concerned, but you know, still I was left on my own. He participated in MK Ultra, this individual. That's one thing. And the second thing is maybe this one here. Let's see this thing here. Now, because this is not about the drug addiction. It can be also about the drug addiction, but this is about other issues. There are more important issues than drug addiction. Let's see this here. I don't like to talk about the drugs because I never took drugs. Imagine, there is fucking people that do not eat drugs and fit into this fucking category. Maybe you should start talking about those first, rather than being concerned about the drugs. So it's going to give me a hard time, I guess. This is just a bonus material to this video.
That story comes partly from a series of experiments that were done earlier in the 20th century. You get a rat and you put it in a cage, and you give it 2 water bottles. One is just water, and the other is water laced with either heroin or cocaine. If you do that, the rat will almost always prefer the drugged water and almost always kill itself quite quickly. In the 70s, Professor Alexander noticed we're putting the rat in an empty cage. It's got nothing to do except use these drugs. Let's try something a bit different. So Professor Alexander built a cage that he called Rat Park, which is basically heaven for rats. They've got loads of cheese, they've got loads of coloured balls, they've got loads of tunnels. Crucially, they've got loads of friends, and they've got both the water bottles, the normal water and the drugged water. But here's the fascinating thing. In Rat Park, they don't like the drugged water. They almost never use it. None of them ever use it compulsively. None of them ever overdose. You go from almost 100% overdose when they're isolated to 0% overdose when they have happy and connected lives. What if addiction isn't about your chemical hooks? What if addiction is about your cage? The idea of addiction we've all got on our heads, that story.
Basically, I figure out that I need to cut walnuts, I need to cut coffee, I need to cut garbage that mother was bringing home, such as chips, chocolates, that kind of stuff, to cut it completely off and survive. Nothing is really perfect. Today I did something stupid, but I survived for a very long time now without any of these stupidities. Survived instead of on the food that I mentioned to you, on other food. Avoid at whatever cost it takes the substances that are causing harm. This is my new resolution, basically, to simply avoid. I was negotiating these things. These things no longer are negotiable. I am now determined to totally avoid anything that would have, as a result, that could impact, these things. To simply cut them off, cut the source off, and that's it. Just like a cold drink, during MK Ultra, they were using a cold drinks to trigger cancer. This was like the easiest way to trigger cancer. When they did this, my voice immediately started to change, and it was like on a snap. Any kind of stuff, any kind of injuries they have created to simply prevent yourself from doing them. It is incredible the number of the injuries that police created on me. It is unprecedented. I don't even have a capacity to turn myself on the bed the way you would, as I lay down like this. I cannot, given that this is the right side, I cannot pick myself up like this on the right side because it triggers the injury, the spine injury on the located on the right side. I instead have to roll myself onto the left side and then with the hands grab myself and pull myself up. No. This is impossible to explain. And when I do this, because of this animal, this Tito Ortiz animal that went on and kicked me into the area of the waist area and dislocated this the bone here, created a serious injury. I cannot even do this because if I turn myself on the left side and I press on this bone, even on the muscle, it triggers the pain that is unbearable to sleep with, unbearable to walk with. So as long as I do the right things that are based on avoiding the injuries, like I said earlier, when I park the car, I have to be very careful. I cannot go backwards to park the car in the garage because when I do this, it triggers certain injury in the back. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch involved surgeons, spine surgeons from Ljubljana University, UKC from Ljubljana. They were coming here, spine surgeons in this house. Beginning the 1988, they took me to the psychiatrist Peter Kapsch need to explain how I was taken to hospitals to Ljubljana for the spine surgery in 1988. He had the surgeons, spine surgeons, study my spine on how to create the injury which would be created only to the such degree that they could easily regulate it during MK Ultra. This is what he fantasized, that it would be surgically created the injury on my spine, that it would, I did not really record everything. When I was a child, they had files. I think I did spoke about that stuff, and they guaranteed me that when I was a child, when I entered the grammar school, that my spine is going to be all fucked up completely. That my spine is going to be like this, completely fucked up, completely, because they had some kids, and these kids had a problem with the spine. And since from forever, they were always looking for the way to make one ridicule another child. And they dig in you for so long, but also explaining other children that they have to pretend they're so stupid and engage in mental game till they would get the statement from me. Then it would be all kinds of injuries that would follow, attacks, children throwing themselves on me. I had the whole fucking class of kids throwing themselves on me and things like this. We had this kind of things going on repeatedly, doing whatever they possibly could to injure. You possibly could not believe when the spine was healing itself, the misery on the faces of these teachers, of my teachers from grammar school Novo Mesto, who guaranteed me by the 3rd grade your spine is going to be destroyed. By the 6th grade your spine is going to be destroyed. I did record this stuff already. It was insane shit. These glasses that you see here, these glasses are a product of the violence of the teachers from the grammar school Novo Mesto. It's something already I have video recorded yet I did not put on the internet. The stuff that went on, this was a fucking zoo on open. Yet these people got away with it without absolutely any one of these animals being charged for anything they have done it for 54 years. It's all thanks to the Greater and Great Britain. It's all thanks to you British. It's all thanks to London. This is what you enforce. This is what you enforce throughout the world. This is what you make out of the civilization outside of your country, in European countries, in other European countries. This is what you make out of the Eastern Europe. This is what you continue to create out of the world. This is what you do. You know, it became evident that the psychiatrist Peter Gapsh, because of what else I already explained, especially in Poland, they would have me walk with a backpack that would be on one side. The same thing they were doing when I came to Poland, the immigration center. They took one side of the backpack always and pull one apart, so the other one would squeeze me. So when I would walk, that my spine would not be even. You know, when you grab and you go and you walk, before you realize, so to trigger the injuries they were creating during MK Ultra. There is a factory where they employ me. We're using the same things they were using during MK Ultra to trigger the injuries. The same injuries they previously created during MK Ultra. So I figure out that the system they're using, Mother, basically, to deliver the same things in the home, the same products, the same technology, the same shit, to continue to trigger those cancer cells and bring them back. Cutting those away completely would probably reduce greatly, if not completely, these cancer issues. I don't think that completely without medications anymore. I think that cancer in me is already progressed greatly. It's not only about the cancer, but it's also about the brain inflammation, that kind of stuff. Now it's almost 7 o'clock and I feel lucky still that I did video recorded this stuff. I feel much better, released, because I gave stuff that I stressed out was just the stuff that was based on a brainwash, that was just stuff that in the latest stages I started to liberate myself from, but totally designed to portray you as wrong, basically, the stuff that you claim. This is just excessive use of vitamins, of all these things that were used, that any one of these things easily, extremely easily can trigger the problems they created during MK Ultra. That's what this shit is about. Very serious problems. No way of knowing other than finding those wounds they created and possibly cure them if there is a cure for it. In this age, it should be, but then again, you already know who rules the hospitals, and then that's again completely another game. It's a whole thing is a lunacy. And that's what you have in Britain. That's who rules you. That's how you rule the world. That's what you are doing. You are poisoning the whole fucking planet with the people that you regard as the royals. And it goes likewise in America. You're poisoning the people with the Democrats. You claim to have Democrats. You claim to have people who oppose tyranny, people who oppose royalism, people who oppose etc., etc. And these are exactly the people who created all this. It wasn't the Donald Trump, it wasn't Charles, it wasn't in Slovenia, this communist here, not the communist. I apologize for using the word communist, because it's not about the communists, it's about the Serbs. It's about the Slovenian Serbs, not the communists. I wouldn't have these problems if these were just the communists. These are the people who do ethnic cleansing. They want Lebanon for the Serbs here, just like the Jews want Lebanon for the Palestinians for themselves, basically. The same identical stuff. This was Prince Harry during MK Ultra. You know, the physician, you know what the physician said to me, that animal from Novo Mesto General Hospital who came to pick me up in 2024 at Novo Mesto police station. He said to me, well, it was done to you already so much, you know, that this is called botulism. This thing here, that's what happened. They were using bottles, garlic inside of those waters for days. even more. And suspect that there could be a bacteria inside. The fucking Peterlin is going to explain that one. It's a neighbor Peterlin. And hallucinated about my being dying, basically, like Joplin did. Scott Joplin, just like he did. Hallucinated, they fear. You know how they talked? You know how it is during MK Ultra? You know how during MK Ultra is? During MK Ultra it's like this. We fear that you're going to make a mistake. When they make not mistakes, they already hallucinate how you're going to die like a Joplin. Why the fuck would you hallucinate? How the fuck am I going to die like a Joplin and at the same time talk about how I'm going to make a mistake about eating garlic that is going to be stored for I don't know how long? Why? I mean, why are you talking about the Joplin and guarantee me that I'm going to die like a Joplin from brain problems and stuff? Guarantee me that I'm going to die from the botulism related neurological problems, that kind of stuff. If you haven't done anything, at the same time you feed me with the old garbage and stuff like this. You know the way they talk to me during MK Ultra? During MK Ultra they talk to me, we fear that you're going to make a mistake. The physician that I spoke to about, he said, because you will make a mistake. First, it was not on once, but many times, screaming, yelling that you're not supposed to give this, that you already screw it up, or overgolop. They already find them that they were giving me old garlic water and stuff, bacteria and stuff like this. Then, prohibition that no more, that not allowed to do that. That no more, not allowed to do that. Then, that they are afraid that I'm going to make a mistake. Because I have seen them preparing the garlic water and stuff like this. Really? Really? So, physicians said not because even because they would do something to you bad, but because you will do the same things that you learned from MK Ultra. This animal from Novo Mesto, this gordo, this motherfucker stomach, that came to that police station, he said to me, he said, the hungry guy told me, he said, doctor, he said, you know, it's a way, basically, to put it in your mouth, basically. Not because they would do it, but because you learned because of what was done to you during MK Ultra, and you will not know how to do it, and you will do it to yourself. What the fuck, man? What the fuck is this, motherfucker? What the fuck is this? I do love to get you to the police station and break you all the fucking fingers, man. And ribs and every fucking bone in your body so you can fucking tell the stuff that went on. Boy, I do fucking skin you at the fucking police station, you fucking animal. So all the poisoning, all the stuff, they know that I will be talking to you about these things, people. The thing is that the way they do this, they tell you so toxically, they try to tell you, don't even bother, don't even try to explain. Don't even try to explain because, you know, for every move, for every intelligence conscience that I would make, it was interrogation, and then it was 1,000 counter arguments on why you shouldn't do that through a real violence by using people from the street, literally embed them in MK Ultra and into attacks, ambulance vehicles, and all kinds of stuff like this. So now, it's not because they would do something to me, but because I watch them doing stuff to me that I need to be worried about. And them doing the stuff was the right way, And my watching them doing the stuff would be, by me, misinterpreted in the wrong way, and that's how I would harm myself. You have no fucking idea what kind of animals the fuck this is. These are beasts. These are not people. Placing people like this in front of the wall, shooting them with a fire squad, executing them should be listed, labeled as a holiday, as a national holiday. These are not prisoners. These are serial killers. They don't even go into the category of the prisoners. Prince Harry suggested with Prince William, with Charles, they were all the time worried about my picking the nose, claiming that it's exactly this that creates a problem, a tumors, and etc., and cancer, and etc. in the brain. Charles needs to explain with Harry and Prince William. They need to explain inside of this room, using this fucking computer, this shit, this mold here. On the computers. They mold the fucking computers and were giving me a lessons. This is bestial stuff, and it's normal to get pissed off about it. Giving me a lessons on why you should be washing your hands together with the police for animals, on how you should be washing your hands all the time, when in fact they were screwing the brain through the poisoning, they were screwing the brain through the sleep deprivation, they were screwing the brain through many issues that have impact on the sleeping patterns and so on, including cancer. So what they were doing is the same way as I mentioned to you with the apples. And the reason to drill the teeth, because you're not washing your teeth, and the colon cancer, because you're not eating the apples, or using literally a cider. Listen, a rinse wash, a mouth wash. The physician who came to pick me up at Novomesto police station, he made me drink one. And that kind of a stuff I have inside of my room, so that it would not go anywhere. It's evidence. That kind of a stuff, never in my life I was using. Never in my life I was buying. I was buying these antiseptics in order to, whenever I would have a cold, so that I would not go to the physicians, which pretty much give you the same thing, to rinse the throat. The same shit. What I would do is I would take the antiseptic for the teeth and I would add to one 75% of the water. And that was just a regular mouthwash, normal thing. What the physician who came to pick me up in 2024, the same animal for whom I have spoken with, that I would love to break him everything. Everything. He said to me, he gave me, did you know, this is the most poisonous one. This is, you're not supposed to drink. So what I would do is I would take a little bit of the antiseptic and put 75% of the water in it. Then I would put inside of the mouth, spit it out, which is also not healthy. And rinse well with the water. But what he did was, with the police, what they were doing is, they were literally make me gurgle this kind of stuff. And when they were gurgling, they were starting to talk jokes. And when they were starting to talk jokes, and I'm talking about the most poisonous antiseptic I never was even using in my lifetime. In my lifetime, I bought maybe 2 bottles of the antiseptic for the teeth. Small bottles like this. That's all there is. I never was using it. I was using it pretty much for if I had a cold, right? That's all there was. I was not even using it. So I would go gurgle and spit out, rather than go to the doctor and pay money. Now, what they were doing is they make me gurgle this thing. I'm talking about the one literally used to clean teeth and stuff. teeth, like proteza, that kind of stuff. And what they would do is they right there next to the sink started to joke. It was an incident. You motherfucker are gonna have to explain. You guys are gonna have to explain this stuff. Started to joke until I started to swallow, until I swallowed the whole fucking thing. And then they said, oh, you swallow it. I said, yeah, but you wanted to do this. This was the plan. The plan was to make me swallow this thing. I said, and now what? What's going on now with this? This was a physician that was doing shit. Doctor, a physician from General Hospital Novo Mesto, who came to pick me up to transfer me to psychiatric hospital in 2024. But what kind of fuck is this? What the fuck is this? You're talking about antiseptic that is extremely, extremely poisonous. And so you're doing stuff like this to a person. What the fuck are the chances that you're not going to develop him a cancer, destroy him kidneys and livers and everything? National holiday to put scum like this, and you know what? To put them in front of the wall will be too fast. To get the truth out of them and then make them suffer, that will be a different story. Apple cider and sodium bicarbonate to destroy the animal, the protection of the teeth. And once that becomes vulnerable, they were giving me during MK Ultra all the time the apples. The apples are good for you. The apples are good for your kidney. But he does not want to eat the apples. So he's going to fail. And his kidneys, and he's going to fail, and he's going to fail. This was Robert Golob who repeated words of the police officers, and Robert Golob repeated in this house 1,000,000 times. You need to explain this shit, scum. You know what is it to destroy your animal, the protection from your teeth? You want to eat apple? You fucking try eat apple and you're going to see what the fuck, how that shit hurts. Thanks God my teeth renovated itself. And so I could again eat apples. This is how Luciferic, satanistic this shit was. It was time when I could not even eat apples, but only could drink the apple juice. So that my mother could compare me to a dunk, to a shit, etc., etc. You know that movie about the rats? Ambient atmosphere. This is what we are talking about. This is how this stuff was done. And I want this to be memorized. I want this, especially about the apple cider, sodium bicarbonate, which I never used in my lifetime to clean my teeth. I used sodium bicarbonate after I saw it on the internet one time, that it whitens the teeth and shit, and removes this stone. And so I went, and I was just using it maybe a little bit, just by a little bit that I was using it. And the only thing that happened was I recalled the girl that I was dating in Hungary, the Alexandra. She had this kind of problem. Because the girls during MK Ultra, they started to bleach their teeth, and they were using literally the girls to convince me that this is good for me, that it's good for me. And I didn't want this shit. They were using the girls to bleach my teeth. The neighbor, Metot Yerman, is going to have to explain about this shit. They were literally using the girls to demand from me to bleach my teeth with sodium bicarbonate and stuff. And shit hurt like a motherfucker. She had her teeth completely destroyed. So when I started this thing, and I recalled, I just fucking throw this away. I never did any of that stuff in my lifetime. This is how sick this shit is. This is how sick this shit is. I think I did not finish computer. They molded, they play with the molding computers. They were making a big fucking deal out of getting computers molded. So don't pick your nose. Do you know how sick this shit is? Do you know how sick this is? This is your Prince Harry and Prince William. This is your younger generation that are going to replace that animal or that I demonstrated here. So what do you need that garbage for? Are you using this to infestate the whole world, to sicken the whole world with it, or what? You don't have normal people to go around to be with the people, or is this like the people that were coming inside of this house were the sickest people. I just noticed that people from the West were not any better. They were just as fucking sick, just as crazy, just as sick, just as crazy, just as evil. More, in many cases. Worse, 100 times worse. Like I said, if I worked for the Russians, it wouldn't be this way. They take care of their people. Don't pick your nose. Don't pick your nose. They were making the fun of the laptops which they molded, like this one here. They were making fun of the molded laptops. Božičnik told me that I'm a loser. I'm a beggar. I'm a homeless. Shit. If I don't buy myself another computer within 3 months. Huh. Through lifelong unemployment and through the theft of every income of absolutely everything. I got lesson from 16 years old, 15 years old on how it shall be, how to be normal, and not to look like a loser, because it's a smart, 1.50 m he's tall individual who knows it all, walking in the shoes of Milan Kučan. So, sick shit, sick, not because they would not know, but because they were making fun. They wanted to make the point about how sick they can be because they can be. And they obviously can because of you, the people, they can. You can protest, you can do whatever the fuck you want. All that is needed here is the truth. I'm not asking anybody to go protest. I'm not asking anybody to go kill anybody. I'm not asking anybody to go harm anybody, to do whatever. I'm just asking for the truth. That's all the fuck I'm asking for. And it seems that you want to talk about the Petersteins, that you want to talk about, you have wars already running. In meanwhile, you want to talk about anything but about this topic, because that does not fit. What fits you is a corruption. What fits you is a style of life, as I described in this blog. That's what you are based out of. And you believe you're going to manage to get back on your colonialist, imperial ways, just like the Russians believe are going to get more, and etc., etc. And that's the magic circle we're in. That's why we're in this shit. We're not in this shit because you, the people, claim that it's because of me. We're in this shit because of you, the people. Because you cannot handle the truth. That's why we're in this shit. Because it's you that cannot handle the truth. I did handle one. What is it like to sleep with 4 hours of sleep and with this? It's not pleasant. It's worse when it comes to heart. I'm more afraid of that. I don't know what to be more afraid of. But it's not pleasant to listen this sound 24 hours a day without knowing whether you're going to be hit with a stroke or not, if you're going to wake up or you're not going to wake up, or what is it going to be, and like this already for 9 years. It's not a pleasant thing. It's not a pleasant thing. I've been through extremely insane stuff in my life, but I've never been through anything more insane than next to the people that you have in Buckingham Palace. That stuff nothing can compare with. The only thing they do is the people whom they use, they put them into retirement. Then they systematically change people. They get the new people. The old people that are in retirement don't know nothing about whether you eat green or you eat apples or whatever the fuck you eat. When you're changed, when you're perfectly, when you're prepared, they change the people, and it's the new people that start to ask you, I don't know nothing, I didn't know nothing, he doesn't need this, and he doesn't need that, and he doesn't need this. This is a 54-year-old case with a lot of psychopaths, with a lot of liars, serial killers that enforce this thing. You may want to lie to yourself that you know something about this case that I don't, or that I don't know about, or that I don't feel that I'm doing the wrong way, or something like that. This video is a proof that the only thing you're doing, and you were doing all along, you were lying. I don't even believe that you, who came in this case as new, did not know about the stuff that I spoke. All of you knew about every one of the issues, every one of the topics that I touched in this thing. You are just paid to murder, to kill, through the lies, through the word of lies. That's all there is to it. You knew. You, the people, are the problem. You're a big problem. It was not about the new people. The new people knew entire history. They knew absolutely everything about the stuff that went on. You just wanted to portray as a phenomenon, like how, like what the fuck, like why this guy is not doing this or that. It's not normal. You're not fucking normal. There's no fucking normal thing about you, motherfuckers. Nothing is normal about you, fucks. Nothing. I'm left with no choice to add just a little part to all this stuff. I mentioned the Prince Andrew. I mentioned Charles. I mentioned this swinery pertaining to during this occasion here that you see this, he insisted that the host that was supposed to give him this picture, whatever that is, actually did this deliberately, that he sabotaged him. And we're talking about the Prince Charles here, who rehearsed what you see here prior. Literally used me to acknowledge to the man, he had a beard, this guy, that gave him this picture, that he would sabotage Prince Charles in the future, that he sides with me and he would sabotage. That means that Charles knew that when he's going to do a picture like this, especially because at first he insisted that this is what my payment is going to be, 0. The balloons that you see were involved in MKUltra, he pointed out, he said China balloons. You will get nothing. This is all you get. Then he changed his mind, he said, or I will get. So this is a lunatic. That is safe to say. Completely irresponsible, insane, whack job. And then changed the story by using a man who supposedly positioned that item in a wrong way. Because it's always other people that are guilty for everything, not that he removed that in a awkward way, but that's just the way it is. So I want to be very, very, very precise about, so there will be video recordings that he created together with the Scotland Yard, with his private police, British police. You're not going to be fucking misinterpreting anything. These are proofs that what I stated here are facts. It's very important for me. I don't allow this hooligan like this to play with this. I don't allow any of that stuff. I wasn't going to do it, but I thought that this would be also important detail to video record and to mention, so that rather I would not look stupid. I'm not the first person they have done this to. They have done this to other people. I clearly caught some American who was coming also here And he kept repeating himself that they just don't want to end this procedure, this MK Ultra procedure, because I'm such a fun guy to be around with. I completely agree, but he continued further. He insisted that, well, you're so fun when you get so upset. But the thing about me is I never was upset. I was absolutely never upset in my lifetime. I was the easiest, the most laid back individual. I didn't give a shit. And it didn't make any fucking sense. But now, yes, now when I consider this, we just don't want to end this because you are such a fun guy to be around with. And it's especially funny when you get so angry. We're gonna miss you, this and that. This is the way it was. When you put this, when you summarize this, my complaints to ICC, to International Criminal Court, my complaints to European Union Commission, to the US Justice Department of State, to the police, back and forth, when you summarize all that shit, we're talking about the complaints. The first time I filed for, the year was 2006. This is 20 years ago. 20 years of complaint. When we summarize all that stuff with words that I told you how they prepare themselves to drive you completely out of your skin, drive you insane. They don't tell you this stuff that you're fun around and we don't want to end it. We just want this a little bit longer to go on because we have so much fun. They don't mean this shit. They mean to fucking kill you. It's important to understand. It's important to discern. When you be told stuff like this, that means they're going to rig international authorities, such as United Nations, etc., will be using Interpol and FBI to slit your throat. Literally through the United Nations Assembly, literally through European Court, literally through the Brussels, literally through the US Congress and so on. Yes, I said through the US Congress. I said through the US Congress. Shit like this does not just happen out of blue, out of nowhere. When they talk to you about that you're funny, and that it's so fun and this and that, especially if you're a laid-back guy who is not, he just doesn't get angry. That's exactly what this is. That's the first sign that you're fucked. One of the first signs when you hear this kind of talk, shit, garbage talk, it's because you're fucking dead, because you're listed to be as good as dead. That means they're going to avoid any potential liability for you. They will do whatever they possibly can to avoid, to find a way out, to look the other way, to have authorities look the other way. That means that you're going to be without the legal assistance, without the right to police, without any kind of fucking right at all, on lifelong unemployment. You better watch out for, if you ever hear stuff like this that somebody is saying, that's because not the person is saying. Nobody during MK Ultra is entitled to his own opinions. All the opinions during MK Ultra that happen in the circle of the target individual are well coordinated, well planned ahead by the police, by the authorities, by the royals, by whoever is involved in it. Whoever is running the show. They don't take any chances, trust me. Any chances. There is one more subject I'm going to touch, because I earlier mentioned protests and stuff like that. I don't support royals, as you know that. First of all, I'm going to tell you all. These clearly are not royals. It angers me because they don't only dress themselves as the royals, they regard themselves as the royals. It is no kings protest throughout the United States. Aiming at Donald Trump, who is using this extremely corrupt DHS to pay, to authorize payment to the TSA workers and stuff, is beyond humiliating. Insane. and that he authorized himself to have a signature on a banknotes and stuff like that. Insane. Basically imitates King Charlie. What angers me the most is that they regard themselves as royals. Why the fuck would you regard yourself as a royal if you are a shitbag? If you have no fucking connection to the royal? Because you are born as a royal, you expect that people are gonna see you as a royal, regardless of what you do. That doesn't work with me. It doesn't work like this. Huh? There is a bigger problem with this thing. The bigger problem is that you in America and you in Britain, on generally everybody, whoever was involved in this case, you all believe that you are something that you are not. See, the problem doesn't end with the royals. See where my problem is? Me regarding this trash as the royals is unacceptable, because there's nothing royal about this trash. It's a trash, and trash is just trash. You can wrap one in whatever paper you want, you can do whatever you want, and trash is just trash, that's all there is. So you too might want to consider this, what I stated here. At the No Kings movement and all other movements, you all acted like kings. You all allowed yourselves stuff that you are actually not entitled to. Every fucking one of them. Every fucking one of you was a jackass. And then you wonder how things got out of hand, how things got so far. Now you're gonna fix that with the protest and this and that and hoo ha ha. That's my point. Don't do shit that it doesn't belong to you. Do stuff that's yours to do. And foremost, do the right thing. Your problems, solution to your problems does not start with the protests. It starts with the truth. I thought that I stopped the recording.